battle, son, the war's not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you soulless soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fatal. Heed the words I say to you before I will fade away. I need to know what you can do. Show them the only way. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fatal. Carry on the battle, son, the war's not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you soulless soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. sun, the war's not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you soulless soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm Heed the words I say to you before I will fade away. I need to know what you can do. Show them the only way. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm
Tries to hold on to the bottom. Here comes Giuseppe. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Foul trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the triangle. No, Rocky up and into the air. They're beating and banging. Burn on the bottom. Cosman up top. Kaufman, I think. No. Breyer by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph, no! At the line, Thunhorse pulls the win out at the stripe. Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Get your foot in. He got it. He's got it. He's got it. Canvas is going to win.
FTF.GG welcomes you to the Daytona International Speedway as we get set to go for the Legend 500 Duels, qualifying, heats, whatever you want to call it. We're set to do it here tonight for the Legends of the Future here on FTF. Glad to have you along for the ride, everybody. Jacob Pitts, Josh Mendoza, Kevin McAdams with you for heat number 1, duel number 1, whatever you want to call it. Sean Butler will be on the racetrack here, and Kevin and Sean will swap for race number 2. Sean will be up here. Kevin will be on the racetrack. So, field is already rolling here. We've got a lap or 2 before we get the green flag. So let's run through our starting grid here, guys. David L. Brown is on pole. The top 2 speeds in qualifying. They ran qualifying a little while ago, some 40 minutes ago. David L. Brown and Kevin McAdams, the 2 fastest men in town, they are locked in to the 500. Blake McCandless starting on the outside. Sean Butler is 3rd. The Ruh-roh. That's not good. The 900 is Garrett Conrath, by the way. Chandler Parsons is 5th. Kolnick is 6th. Cozy is 7th. Matthew Zwack 8th. Gabriel Mauricio 9th. And 10th, Art Reimer. Josh?
Nate Stewart in 11th. Ethan Corridor 12th. Chris Yankee 13th. Dylan Roberts is going to be 14th. Derek Norton 15th. Josh Abbey 16th. Michael Guerrilla 17th. Christopher Norris 18th. Adam Martin 19th. And Garrett Delph 20th.
21st going to be that Tristan Baker Moon Car Machine. Jackson Van Volkenberg in 22nd. Davis Warren 23rd. Brandon Zimmerman will roll off 24th. 25th, Terry Murphy in the 77. Marcus Siasco will roll off 26th. Kyler Wynn, one of our first provisionals, he will roll off in 27th. Daniel Fockingham 28th. Brandon Cattell 29th. Jill Chatelaine 30th. And Aaron Smith II had a great showing during the first leg of the 500 of the All-In 650. He will roll off in 31st, Jake.
One lap until we get the green flag. First, let's talk with the driver that's already locked into the 500 for next week. That's David L. Brown. And, well, what's the plan here? You've got 60 laps in this race that, at least for you, don't particularly matter, but I guess it could be a learning opportunity for the race next week.
Absolutely. This race will give a good idea of how things are going to be next week, the pace of the event, how hard people are going to go. A lot of the drivers in the field are drivers that I'm very familiar with from running the Legends races that go on at Daytona and Talladega, but there's also a lot of the field that you don't see in those races. And so this race will have a different amount of energy to it than a normal Legends 87 race would. And it'll be beneficial to know that what it's going to be like going into the big show.
Quickly, before we go green here, David, are we going to see you racing for the lead this whole time, or where do you expect yourself to be out? Are you going to drop to the back? Let's hear what's your plan right now.
I'm treating it like it's going to be any other Legends race, and I'm going to try and lead when I can and go for the win. So just going to focus on doing what I think I need to do to get the best finish I can out of it.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck, David.
That's David L. Brown starting from position number 1 here from Daytona. So, 16 drivers, your top 16, or I guess top 17 if David L. Brown's in the top 16. Your top 16 drivers make the big show and will race next week for 500 miles. Green flags in the air. We're underway from Daytona. Who's going to lead the first lap of the duels? It'll be the pole sitter, the 83, David L. Brown out in front. Sean Butler fighting on the inside as the field rockets back to turn number 1.
So we see them racing side by side here for that lead pack. It's a little bit of a single file action behind these guys. Nothing crazy. Looks like people settling in. They know it's going to be a longer race. We got one car to the outside wall. That's the 88 machine of Marcus Siasco, but he's going to keep it forward. No issues there. Little just side by side. Easy riding.
Smooth driving for those guys at the front of the field as they make their way off corner number 4. Still side by side for the top 2 positions. They've got a couple of tire sets in the pit lane, 3 of them to be exact. It's full fuel capacity on these race cars. So how this works out is, well, they've still got a long way until they need a pit. But, Kevin, they are going to have to stop if they go green the whole way, at least once for fuel.
For sure. And, you know, with the 60-lap event, there's different ways you can approach it. It's a very similar race length to what, you know, David Brown attested to running these 87 cars, 50, 60 laps. You pretty much can go about 40 laps, maybe 42 laps on a tank of fuel. But with the way the tires are, you may want to do it a little bit earlier. Someone just hit the wall. Not sure who that was. That was way towards the back. About
Looks
maybe
like Davis
halfway in the
Warren.
field. Davis Warren in the 70. But, you know, with the way this is going to be, another thing, too, these tires, this is going to be a lot hotter track than these guys are used to. 114-degree track temp. Kyler Wynn is also already wrecking loose. 114-degree track temp, 65-degree ambient temperature. Very cool conditions, but middle of the day in the summer simulated here. It's going to be very hot, but very fast. We'll be seeing over 215 miles an hour going into the corners.
Yeah, 65. Hold on. 65 degrees on June 22nd at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Realistic. I love it.
It's not unheard of here in Florida to have wild swings of weather like that. I actually
Daytona, Canada, I guess.
did not say this was going to be a realistic event in terms of weather.
Maybe if it was in February, I guess we're a little bit closer.
You know, it's funny. I mentioned that they were going single file there for a little bit, and it seems like everyone from 21st on forward is now double file. A little bit of side-by-side action elsewhere, but other than that, single file for the last couple of spots. But nobody is content to ride in line anymore. Maybe I miscalled that earlier.
And you'll see that with this setup. It's pretty much the exact same setup.
Oh, we got one in the
Adam
wall.
Reimer into the wall and he has hit Adam Martin. Adam Martin over in the tri-oval.
Flip counter at 1. Cautions out on lap number 5. In the first duel, Davis Warren getting a piece of it and Adam Martin getting the worst end of it. Up in the air and over. A lot of damage to that 87 Chevrolet as the cautions out for the first time. Some contact back there with Derek Norton.
Yeah, that was just looks like somebody went a little too high off of corner exit. We've seen it many times before, especially in the Firecracker 400 here previously. If you get too high off of corner exit into turn number 4, your car it does not plant the same. There's like a bump up there. Kevin, you probably have better experience with it. What's going on off of the corner exit of turn number 4?
Well, the biggest thing is that the grip not only falls off, but the banking is deceptively low on the exit of turn 4. It's like that in turn 2, but in turn 4, it is a wide exit and it is a very shallow exit. So if you're within maybe 10 feet of the wall at that point, there is not a lot of grip up there. There is one lane of grip. It's not like some of these new tracks where you go to Atlanta, Chicagoland, Auto Club, where the grip starts to progress a little bit more as you get towards the wall. There is one set of lane grip on this track. So the same as the bottom versus the top. So if you're right next to that wall, you pretty much have to avoid missing it. And Art Reimer clipped it, and that pretty much sent Adam Martin flying when he was clipped by the person that Art hit. That was a hard hit. And he got hit by Davis Warren. A couple guys piled in.
Hey, I'm looking right here. Oh, yeah.
Yep, this is about half a lap early, but we're making it.
You can see that side-by-side action that I was mentioning previously. Just everyone throughout the field not content. You'll see one of those cars just kind of start to slide up a little bit higher than everyone else.
It's the purple car in the outside lane, gets the wall. And then the blue car there, that's the 47 of Derek Norton trying to avoid, and he comes down and just catches Adam Martin's car, and up and over it goes. There you see Davis Warren getting a piece. Chat Lane is around, and good 6 cars involved in this in total with some of the guys in the back of the field.
All right, there we see him flip over, and then Davis Warren comes out of nowhere to just nose into him. I was looking at our entry list, and I'm not seeing any meatballs. So for those of you who don't know, meatball is required repairs. So everyone here has the opportunity to leave the pit stall when they want to. That could mean that people stay on the lead lap and may just be slow and may take time to take those repairs rather than having to be forced to sit down for 10 minutes at a time.
So cautions out for the first time here from Daytona. David L. Brown, your race leader in the 83. Second belongs to Terry Murphy. Chandler Parsons is third, Blake McCandless fourth, and Michael Cozy Jr., the reigning Firecracker 400 champion, lines up in position number 5.
A couple guys pitted. Terry Murphy actually going to come in and pit, relinquish that second spot.
Actually, yeah, everybody came down onto the pit lane. You're right. Most drivers taking just fuel only. Your top 14 taking just fuel. Dylan Roberts, the first car, taking 4 tires. He currently sits P15, and a lot of the guys behind him taking 4. Gil Chatelain, I believe, just took 2. He sits in the 17th position. Lights are, I think, out on the pace truck, and they are, so we'll get the green flag here this time by.
I'm looking right now. Adam Martin and Davis Warren are back out on track. Look like they're, I wouldn't classify Adam Martin as up to speed, but he is at a level of speed that will keep him semi-competitive as long as he has a couple more cautions to get those repairs fixed.
And as this run, if these guys can get a pretty big run, the fall off is pretty substantial. I'd say it's about 2 seconds of fall off. So if you can stay in the pack, he have a little bit of engine damage possibly. He might not go into the corners as aggressively. That might actually pay off for him in the long run. But single file restart here, single file restarts from here to the end, unlike most weeks where they go double file at a certain point. So single file pretty much from the end. And if we get any lap traffic, they will be at the bottom. And trust me when I say that those lap cars can be hungry at the speedways. They'll definitely have something to say to get back to the front.
We've seen issues on restarts in the past here, single file restarts specifically. So we'll see if they are able to sort this out here. It's a little bit more of a competent group, so I don't have a low faith in that.
Pace truck's on the pit lane. 8 laps are complete. Green flag back in the air. Let's see if everybody can get up through the gears. Some folks have had trouble with that in this league through the first couple of weeks, but so far looks like they managed to
we
crash.
got a big wreck.
Yep, Cattella's around. Big crash in the back of the field. Mauricio's around. Aaron Smith is around. Derek Norton again. Chatelain. Adam Martin just hit the inside wall and lost a tire. That's going to be a meatball for him. Chatelain has a meatball. Big damage to a lot of race cars. Caution's out for the second time. And, man, Adam Martin flipped, got back on the racetrack, and now he is done. That left front is sitting in the infield in turn 1.
So it kind of all starts around the Gillis, Chatelain, and Art Reimer machine. It was just like this weird stack up, as I was mentioning.
Might have been a missed shift.
Yeah, that definitely looks like what it could have been there. And they were just
Norris
darting around and didn't hit the. Yeah,
Norris just did not get going, and it checked everybody up behind him. And there's only so much room in the tri-oval.
It looks like he started in 4th gear, and that checked everything up. Mauricio trying to go through a hole that just was not there. Cattell moved up a skosh.
Yeah, he didn't lift. Mauricio never lifted there, so here it is again.
Kind of can see this. There's a little bit of a check up there, and you see he's just not getting up to speed, and people are wondering what's going on. And
Watch the 04, the mobile car. He comes up through and just comes down the racetrack and bounces off of Cattell, and it's on. There's Adam Martin. He's
Where's he going?
I don't know if he thought he was going to be able to control it in the grass, but no, he couldn't. And big damage for him. Sean Peleg was just watching the session, so he didn't retire because he's not in the session. So Martin, Chatelain, and Norton, all 3 have meatball flags. Tristan Baker has a black flag, I think from the restart or something. I'm not sure where the black flag came from, but he's had it at least since the restart. And it's cleared.
Yeah, it was because he came down onto pit road and was probably speeding or an unsafe pit entry or exit.
Gotcha. Well, Blake McCandless is currently your leader. A couple of cars on the pit lane. We'll reset, and we'll come back for the restart, let you know where everybody's at here from Daytona. You're watching on FTF. Back here from the Daytona International Speedway. Lake. Thanks, Frisch.
It's a big
There you
lake.
see it. Yeah, it is.
You know, you can actually fish in there, I've heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh? Anyone here done that yet?
I'm not really a fisherman.
I was going to say, that would require me to be at the Speedway at some point in my life, wouldn't it?
Well,
You've never been to Daytona?
you got to go
I
to
have
Daytona
not.
at least once in your life. It's an incredible experience.
I do find it a little bit overrated, but I've also been coming to the track since I was 5 years old, so maybe I'm a little bit
Right.
desensitized to it.
The Jacob Pitts NASCAR track experience is limited, to say the least. Gosh.
You could always fly
Pocono?
southwest. It might take you a while, but
God. Let's see. Pocono, Martinsville, Richmond, Charlotte. Is that it? I think that's it.
and look,
Those
we
are
have
rookie.
paint schemes now.
Those are rookie
We
numbers.
do.
Oh yeah, look at that! While
Yeah.
we were at break, everyone went on and put on their wraps on their cars.
How about that? We're back to green now. 12 laps are complete. Blake McCandless is your race leader. And Fields back to turn number 1. And looks like everybody
Nate
got through the
Stewart.
gears a little bit better this time.
Nate Stewart just hit the wall on the exit of the tri-oval for seemingly no reason. We had this issue during the All-In 650 with Cole Freilich.
Watching
I don't
the
know if
broadcast.
the,
We're
I
watching
don't
the
know
Chili
if the
Bowl.
Chili Bowl is going on still, but hopefully these guys don't distract and have distracted driving. Single file for the most part. Kyler Wynn trying to go side by side with Nate Stewart. That'll be for 8th going into the trial or into turn 3. Uh-oh.
Oh, trouble.
Broadcast just paused.
They can still hear us though, so we'll go ahead and go.
They get single file, still at the lead, still at the helm. McCandless, Cozy, and then Butler in 3rd.
There's still single file throughout the field going through the tri-oval. A little bit of side-by-side action for 6th place. 77 machine got into the wall in turn number 1 last time by, but kept it going forward. No issues there as they go into turn number 1.
Here comes Alex Kolnick in that blue and white 22 car to the inside of Garrett Conrath, making his first start on the season. Conrath trying to hold on the outside, but he has no help. Here comes Kyler Wynn to the bottom as well, off 2.
Wynn gives Kolnick a shove down that 3,000-foot super stretch, trying to get them towards the top 3. Top 3 broke away for just a moment, but here comes Kolnick all over the back of that Thunderbird and Sean Butler. Conrath currently by himself on that top line. Single file for the most part from 1st, about 10th. Stewart nearly hits the wall out of 4.
Side by side, peaking for the lead. Isn't going to happen this time by. Blake McCandless leads. Michael Cozy in 2nd. Sean Butler 3rd.
The battle is for 4th on back. Single file for the moment. Kolnick's holding on to 4th. Kyler Wynn in 5th. Matthews Wax at 6th. Then it's Falkingham and Conrath. The battle. David L. Brown, Nate Stewart on back. That's for P8 as one car catches the wall. It's Dylan Roberts.
Brown gets around Stewart. That'll be for the 9th position with side by side for a moment. Roberts gets single file. First battle for position going to be between the number 14 of Yankee and Chandler Parsons. He also gets relegated from the top back to the bottom. That'll leave us 15 cars single file out of turn 4, looking to complete lap 16.
No major battles right now. And as I say that, 2 cars go side by side through the tri-oval. That's for 15th and 4th or 11th.
Meanwhile, Kolnick's under fire again. Here comes Matthew Zwack to the outside for position number 5. Wynn got by him in turn number 3 that last time by. Zwack doesn't have the help. He'll side by side with Falkingham behind Kolnick's off 2.
Falkingham actually had to avoid Kolnick and Zwack. Zwack nicked the wall a little bit in turn 1. Brown going to push Falkingham into 3 wide action underneath Kolnick. And a little bit of contact. Kolnick sideways. Hits the outside wall. Stewart is involved. Roberts is involved. They save it. They wreck again. Stewart back into the outside wall as caution waves again for the 3rd time on lap 17 here in the first duel of the Legends 500.
That timing could not have worked any better. The video feed came back as Alex Kolnick's crowd surfed on top of Nate Stewart in turn 3. Kolnick's lost the right front wheel off that Ford, and his day is most likely done here from Daytona in duel number 1. He may get lucky depending on speed. You see a replay there. Some of the guys able to make it through, but Falkingham trying to make it 3 wide, just not enough room going into turn 3.
I didn't notice during the actual wreck, but Nate Stewart drove underneath Kolnick's, trying to just find a gap. He went to the top, hit David Brown. Brown snuck his way through this wreck. You'll see this here on the replay. Conrath gets nicked by Roberts. Roberts spins, but he manages to save it. And then there's almost like a second half part of this wreck where Kolnick's and Stewart have nowhere to go. They keep wrecking. There's more people trying to navigate through this wreck. We get another replay. Fucking get a hell of a push from Brown, and that's what set this whole stage up.
Man, oh man. Dylan Roberts did a good job getting through that.
Kolnick's both engine failed and missing the right front suspension. That's going to be absolutely terminal. If it wasn't for the fact he was already in the air, but just because you're in the air doesn't mean your day's over, as we've already seen that so far.
Pit road is open, and everybody is headed to the pit lane. Let's see who'll get off the pit lane first. Christopher Norris and Ciasco both missed their stalls. They have to back up. And the race off pit lane, give it to Sean Butler. An 8-second pit stop, fuel only. And he will come out in front. Same deal with Reimer, Abbey, Van Valkenburg, Guerrilla, Quarter. Cozy, the first one off the pit lane on 4 tires. A slow stop there from McCandless. He comes out in the 9th position, make it the 8th position. I'm not sure how, but I think Marcus Ciasco, his pit stall is right at the front straightaway at the start-finish line. So when he had to back up to make it into his pit box, ATVO for some reason scored him as the leader, which he is not. So I hope that iRacing didn't do the same thing. Otherwise, we could be in trouble. But right now, Sean Butler, your race leader here at Daytona with 42 laps to go.
And these tires will be an advantage for at least a few laps. So Sean will have his hands full for a little bit with everyone pretty much on 4 tires. I'd say there's maybe 5 or 6 guys that did the same thing, if not something very similar. Quarter looks like he only had a 7.9 second stop. Guerrilla, Abbey, Van Valkenburg, Art Reimer also taking fuel only, but this should put them in a very close window to make it to regulation. I believe there is going to be a green-white checkered similar to what we have in the main events of every other week, so you got to worry about that a little bit. But if we have another caution, I foresee these guys coming down and taking tires towards the end, especially if you're 15th on back. But right now, Sean gonna have to use that little bit of a gap between 1st and 7th, where Cozy is, to kind of hold this off.
Mark, that 1st and 5th, Ethan Quarter and Michael Guerrilla came down to top off on fuel that time by, so even less cars in between the fresh tires and the leader.
Yep, and they are down and away from the pit lane. And again, only fuel only for them. I thought maybe they would have come to their senses and decided to take tires, but instead they decide that fuel only will be the call here, and we'll see how the older tires fare for the top 4: Butler, Reimer, Van Valkenburg, and Abbey. Just a reminder, by the way, that we are 30 days away from the Bar Visual FTF Cup Series. I got it.
All right.
There you
The
go.
Bar Visual FTF 500 comes up in just 30 days from today. For more information, go to ftf.gg to sign up and get all the good stuff. More than 100 drivers are signed up, locked and loaded, ready to go. Qualifying for that begins on Friday, February 3rd, and that's when Speed Weeks will kick off for FTF. A great season coming up ahead.
Lights are off. Pace truck will pull down here, and we're going to go green flag racing.
Sean Butler, your leader. Then it's Reimer, Van Valkenburg, Abbey, and Cozy. Green flag. Here comes Cozy with McCandless, not wasting any time on those 4 fresh tires. Already to the inside of Abby on the back bumper now, Van Valkenburg. Let's see where they go here once they come off too.
And that Shenandoah Shine Buick is going to be in the way with these 4 tires. And already Butler has lost the lead. He's down from second, now third. He's going to bottleneck the bottom line with McCandless and Falkingham there. Here comes Cozy on those new tires to get around Van Valkenburg. And right now, your leader, Art Reimer, in the 49, here to lead lap 21.
Oh my goodness, let's see if he's able to take it at the line, and that's a lap led for Art Reimer in the 49 machine. How awesome is that?
And just like that, the dream is over. There goes Cozy right on by with the fresh tires. He takes the lead away, and he's got a buffer now between himself and the remaining drivers on the fresher tires. The first one of those is now Matthew Zwack. He's second on that outside line behind the blue and pink car of Van Valkenburg, and he'll decide to go up the middle with help from Chandler Parsons. This could get ugly.
Van Valkenburg almost against the wall. Brown going to have to check up just a little bit. Valkenburg is in the wall. Those old tires not working out at all for him and Abby, both now relegated outside the top 10. Butler will now ride in 6th. New leader at the line, Matthew Zwack. Here comes Parsons to pass. And this package, this weather combination, you can get some crazy runs into the corner. And Parsons uses that to take the lead on the top. Here comes Kyler Wynn also on the top. Started in 27th position up to 2nd.
Rewind a little bit further back as Sean Butler is running for cover right now. And that gets back to 2 wide racing. And here you see your top 3. Chandler Parsons, now your leader. Kyler Wynn in 2nd. The 78 of Matthew Zwack in position number 3. Side by side for 5th, though. It's Cozy and Yankee coming toward the start-finish line.
I'm not sure if something happened. There is a huge gap.
I got exactly what happened right here. In turn number 1 last lap, Garrett Delph got a little bit of loose, caught up with Terry Murphy. That slowed down the field and developed a massive gap between, I believe that's...
Oh, trouble! Garrett Conrath in the wall. Around goes McCandless off the corner. Caution's out.
Oh, no, Ciasco. And Baker.
Garrett Conrath had some
happened.
contact.
Oh.
Looks like maybe some contact. Here's the replay. Art Reimer just got into the back of him.
God, these
Those
guys are
old
coming
tires
in
not doing
hot.
him any favors. Yeah, and then you saw Falkingham there get into the back of McCandless. And then here comes fun. And just when you think it's over.
Big plows, big fun here at the fun spot. I mean, the Daytona International Speedway.
Conrath now has a meatball flag. He would not have had one without those last 2 hits, but now his race in jeopardy. Now, he did start 4th, so there's the potential that he could get in on speed, but I'm sure he does not want to have to rely on his qualifying effort to try and get into the show.
Yeah, it's top 4 on speed, but it's top 4 on speed of those who do not lock themselves in. So as of right now, I believe he is 7th. So he would need a little bit of help. He would need guys like Blake, like Sean, to get in. That would certainly help him. And then, of course, the people who are in Duel 2 to do the same thing. So he's close. He is definitely on that proverbial bubble, but I'm sure he's hot and a little bit mad that Art turned him. And then, of course, the guys that just plowed the wreck. Those guys were doing about 140 miles an hour as they hit him, and they slowed down to maybe about 100. That's a little ridiculous. These guys need to slow down a little bit.
So I'm following a little bit of a developing notion. Is the 47 machine has a meatball as well. You'll see him right there. That's the blue machine in the background. But he was not involved in this wreck whatsoever. Actually, in turn number 4, just previous to this situation, he caught the outside wall. I think he might have a flat tire. You'll see right here. He just gets a little bit high, catches that outside wall, and hits it.
Right there.
Flat tire or a broken suspension, but this caution, absolutely a saving grace for keeping his hopes of racing forward and into the Legends 500 alive. You know, those suites are really nice behind the pit lane. I like that area.
The Daytona 500 Club?
Yeah.
I had my prom there.
Really?
I did.
That's awesome.
It was definitely interesting. Someone I'm not going to name names, but someone threw up in victory lane because
Trouble.
someone decided to bring in
Noah Gregson?
No, we didn't go to school together, thankfully. I wouldn't want to experience that. But someone brought in some extracurricular activities, a little bit of alcohol. Doesn't mix well with teenagers.
No, it does not. I snuck into the Daytona 500 Club a couple of times.
Unbelievable.
Incredible. You heard it here first.
Statute of limitations is definitely not on that.
I was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's no big deal.
Now I can just get in whenever I want. Excuse me, I'm with Parker. You know Parker, right?
I did not do that. This was before I met Parker and Landon.
I'm Mr.
I would not name
Klingerman's
drop like that.
assistant.
I am not that. Oh my goodness. I'm not.
Do you know who I am? Well, I know who you aren't. And you're not me.
Oh man, Kevin, jeez.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
34 to go. Oh my.
Did
Taylor Parsons leads.
the 900 of Garrett Conrad, did he actually get off of pit road? Oh, I don't think he did. I think he exited a closed pit.
He does not have a black flag.
Oh man, that is as close
Now-
as it can be if he didn't.
It may have been cleared, but unless he pitted a second time,
Yeah, pit exit does not matter when you're pitting. It's about when the field's passing on the outside.
He
is
doesn't
when
have a
pit exit
meatball.
close.
well, here's the thing. I think in the replay, it shows the pits were closed, but they were not closed because otherwise everybody would have gotten a penalty for pitting there. So
No, well, pit entry is a little bit different than pit exit. There, pit entry is based on where your I can speak where you are in relative to the rest of the grid. Pit exit is strictly when it is safe to exit the pits. It's almost always when the pace truck is on the outside and the tail end of the pace field. So there is one guy that did exit right behind Garrett. That would be Tristan Baker, the 37 machine, only a few seconds later, and he got sent to the tail end of the field with some sort of penalty.
well,
That was a close.
guess we'll find out. 33 to
close
go
deal.
in race 1. Green flag. Here comes Wack looking for the lead, and Chandler Parsons gonna get abandoned at the altar. Here comes Wack looking for the lead, and he's got it. One car onto the apron. Got put there. That was Davis Warren. I think maybe he missed a shift or something. Looked like there may have been some contact there between him and Sean Butler, but they sorted it out.
Yeah, Warren started 15th on that restart. He is now back past the top 20, back at the front. Chandler was asleep at the wheel seemingly on that restart, but gets a huge shove from Yankee down the backstretch. Now side by side with Zwack, and Zwack has shown a lot of muscle so far in this race. Started in 8th, has stayed in the top 10. They all snake down the front stretch, side by side for the lead. Give it to Chandler by an inch, by a fender at the line.
You're going to go back to turn 1. Just an update, by the way. Adam Martin did indeed park the race car. His chances to make the show not looking great right now. Overall, he, in this session.
Oh, they're blocking down the back. Why are you blocking?
Oh my gosh, look out. Somebody's going to get turned in the grass. That's Terry Murphy taking the chicane.
Ooh, this is gonna be really sketchy. Oh, he just caught air.
God.
Oh my goodness!
Look
gracious.
out.
He-
The grass, deadly. Silent but deadly. And Terry Murphy with a horrible crash.
Oh my God.
I think he caught some sort of. What is this?
This has been happening, and the
It's-
first
it's
instance
like-
I've seen it was at the core at the old Daytona, which is where we're at. This
Yep.
grass model, if you go and hit a lip of asphalt, it sends you 20, 30
this
feet in the
wasn't-
air. I don't know
Kevin?
what he hit.
This was nothing.
So
There is no racetrack there.
What?
yeah,
It's the
I
grass.
Oh,
mean, we could say that he hit a drainage thing and make it sound realistic, or we can go with the old game dev answer is 2 parallel planes were not on the same Z index, but either way, the result was the 77 machine is more than likely done for the race.
Here's the onboard. Them Duke boys at it again.
Oh!
Oh, that's the gyro cam yet, too.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Let me go grab my Dramamine.
Well, that is quintessential you block, you pay. Why are you blocking at lap 29 of all times? Cattell had a hell of a run, and
he does not have a meatball.
Blocked it to the bottom.
I don't know how.
He's still driving.
I'm shocked by that. I just don't understand why he blocked like that. Why are you blocking like that on lap 29?
And that's exactly what Sean Butler said. We're in the show. Why are we doing this with where they're running right now?
Well, he's not in the show anymore.
Well, he was before he did that.
I know.
So
Aaron Smith has parked the car. He's done for the night in the 700.
So I'm just want to follow up from the last caution. So it appears like Tristan Baker and Garrett Comrath, the difference between being 1 lap down and on the lead lap was about a half a second longer on pit lane. And Garrett did not get a penalty. And Tristan Baker did, got an EOL penalty, got sent to the back. Boom. That's the end of the day. Not the end of the day. Still possible to race back from that position, but certainly not a good position to be in.
Well, he's got some options. He can still get the lucky dog. He can still, if for some reason someone else goes a lap down and gets the lucky dog, he can be within the top 5 of the lead lap and get his lap back. He can also earn it the hard way. So there are definitely some avenues to getting it back, but he is still on pit road as we speak. So not sure what's going on with the 37, but it's not looking good for that Moon car machine.
Inside 30 to go. And it has been a wild first race here from Daytona. And there's another 60-lapper coming up here in race number 2.
Reminder, our broadcast host, Kevin, will be racing in that one. And Sean Butler, who is currently in 10th place, will be joining us up here to chat.
We're having dessert a little earlier, getting the shake before the bake.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
That's a statement that happened.
I also appreciate last night, Jake, that you actually read Sean Manwich Butler.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
People didn't get it, and then they're like, oh, he's working with Sloppy Joe. That makes sense.
Well, I don't think they understood that his middle initial was M.
It's plastered everywhere.
Was the... Well, I know, but not on the car broadcast.
What would Sean's identity be if he didn't have M period in the middle of it?
Do you know his middle name doesn't actually start with M?
Oh my God, this is...
I'm kidding, it actually does.
I was going to say...
Michael P. Frisch, his middle initial is not P.
Incredible.
Are you lying?
That. I am telling the truth on that. You can ask him yourself.
There are things that just should not be said on the service, and I think you just said one of them. You outed him.
Am I what's it called, shooting a little bit instead of breaking kayfabe? Exposing the business.
I'm being exposed.
Yes. Your middle name does not start with the letter P. Is this true?
No comment.
Oh man.
Breaking
Michael
news.
Phony Frisch.
There you go. Well, perfect. All right, 28 to go. Chandler Parsons, your leader. Green flag. David L. Brown takes the lead off the high side. Side by side, second on back as they make their way down the back straightaway. David L. Brown now just trying to play the lanes, and I think he's trying to learn something for next week's 500 miler.
David Brown is a very aggressive driver. Every time we see him at the super speedways, pretty much anytime you see him, he's wanting to attack the lead, blocks the bottom, blocks the top, keeps Tianki and Parsons side by side. And they'll be out side by side from about second to say 10th or 11th position. Robertson and Cattell side by side. I think that's for the 9th spot. But Kyler Wynn, we talked about it a little bit earlier, 27th now will be 3rd. And here comes Brown on that top side, looking to get the lead back from Parsons.
All bunched up at the front of the field. Here from Daytona, they should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Whether or not they have enough grip on the tires is another story, coming to 26 laps to go. Here from Daytona, Kyler Wynn looking to the inside of Chandler Parsons. He's not quite going to be able to get underneath him. Your top 2 single file at the stripe.
I don't understand this side-by-side action right now. You know you're all in. Why are you racing like this? Get single file, keep that distance between you and the cutoff line, and just start to build up. There's no reason to be racing this hard when you know you've already advanced.
And the most intelligent person, Josh, is Nate Stewart in the 4. He is 17th, which normally would be 1 spot out, but with Brown in the lead in the top 16, he is in, and he is on the bubble. He is about a half second behind Ethan Corder. His only threat at the moment is Art Reimer. Art's had trouble in the pack, getting a little bit tight, especially off the corner. I think he knows that. Mining the gap between this side-by-side pack and his only competition in the 49 in that Buick.
And the only way he can fall out is if he gets past and David L. Brown falls out of the top 16, because if David L. Brown falls out of the top 16, Stewart is then 16th, and he's still in the show.
That's a good position to be in. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Nate's playing it smart. We got people dancing all around like it's the battle royale here for the lead. It doesn't really matter. I mean, sure, you may not start where you prefer to start if you're 16th here, but it doesn't matter. You're in the show, and you got so much time to make that up.
Kyler Wynn looking for the lead here off corner number 4. Cozy and Sean to help, as we are under now 25 to go, 24 as they cross the stripe.
Still side by side for the lead. Still David L. Brown trying to command both lanes. Rips the top down the straightaway. Brings it to the bottom. Gets a little bit of aero wash on that 82 in the middle of the corner. Still playing both lanes. Goes back up in front of Parsons. 3 rows deep, side by side. First one single file. After that's Cattell. Cattell's had an up and down day. He's been in wrecks. He's been sliding around. He is now from 29th to 7th. Always a threat. Your 2020 Firecracker 400 winner, always in the running for these races at Daytona.
Dare I say, an expert in these cars. Here comes Wynn, back on the bottom, looking for the lead again with the help from Cozy. That 83 of David L. Brown keeps that outside line rolling as they come off turn 2.
It looked like maybe Parsons got a little bit tight. Kyler going to be able to sneak in line behind Brown. Not for long. Looks low on that 83. Maybe almost wanted to go down there to block Michael Cozy Jr. Cozy, another Firecracker winner. He's done a fantastic job staying up front and in that Lumina, that Logitech Gialtis Chevy Lumina. Be nice to get the actual model in that car. Looks weird on a Thunderbird. But right now, Brown keeping the top 17 spot in the running, and there's a couple extra guys who have shown up to battle for that. Michael Guerrilla also has now shown up, and he is flying. He just passed Art Reimer, and now he's looking for Stewart down the backstretch with 22 to go.
At least Cozy has a paint scheme on that car, and it's not like the next gen on the Arca that he ran in core last night.
I feel like that's just the way it's going to be from now on.
Like I said, I don't remember if I said this on air or not, but I have a feeling it'll be that way until he signs with the team for the Coke Series. Did you know Michael Cozy Jr. is in the Coke Series, a pro driver now? And I have a feeling once he signs with a team, all of his cars will change, and we won't see the iconic blue and orange number 99, and maybe he'll keep the number 99 in the Coke Series. Only one way to find out, but and I'm sure we'll find out in the next couple of weeks wherever he lands.
So I'm getting called out on game chat. Sean Butler saying he is in a Firecracker 400 winner sandwich with Michael Cozy in front and Brandon Cattell behind. Needless to say, I think he's in beautiful company. I think that inside line.
Oh, there they go. Oh, saved
There it is.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
That was nuts.
Kyler
But
Wynn.
that inside line looking really strong. Firecracker 400 royalty all around. I think that's the line to be in. Go with Kyler Wynn.
Kyler Wynn nearly hit the wall, and I think he had to check up, and Parsons got into the back of him. That almost set fire to the field. And I feel like we're going to say it over and over again. These guys are in. What are we racing so hard for?
Okay, Sean, just to make note, that whole stack up has brought 2 additional drivers, Brandon Zimmerman and Jill Chatelaine, into the fight for P17. They are now within that lead draft. There is no extended draft.
You're a delf in the wall.
This is getting real sketch right now. I'm telling you, we've seen it again and again with these cutoff races. We get closer and closer, and it's even if you're in the top, whatever, your brain gets turned off.
Marcus Siasco had a moment. He was way away from everybody, had a moment, got the wall off 4, hit the inside wall. He has a meatball. He's trying to fix that race car right now on the pit lane. We're coming to 18 laps to go here from Daytona. We'll see if they can make it the rest of the way. Caution free. It's David L. Brown and Cozy side by side for the lead. And the guys behind him, we'll see how aggressive they are, knowing it where they're at right now. They are in the show.
Nate Stewart, and we talked about adding some drivers to this field, is now a pack of 21. Stewart recognizes that, gives himself a little bit of a buffer. Delph gets a little bit tight in the middle of 1 and 2. He hit the wall last lap. So that 13 Shenandoah Shine Chevrolet struggling at the moment, but he is currently on the bubble in that 17th spot. Stewart now up to 15th, helping quarter. Both kind of just minding their P's and Q's in line, single file. Fockingham doing the same thing.
Oh, we got one in the outside wall. That's Josh Abe. He's going to spin in front of Art Reimer and come back up and hit the outside wall. No caution.
Still
Josh
green.
Cleared. Wow.
Everybody behind him avoids him as he's on the apron off the racing surface.
Make that 20 cars in the lead pack.
And no meatball. No, there's the meatball flag.
He was in the top 17 for a while and started to slowly trickle his way back. He lost it when he was outside the top 17, so that's not going to move anyone in at this time.
Oh, Terry Murphy is spinning. He is in the inside wall in the 77. No caution. He goes to the pits. I believe
That's
Off turn 4.
He also got an entry on pit road penalty, so I think his day is done.
Yeah, he got the outside wall, kind of like Siasco. Meatball flag for him, and he was all by his lonesome when that happened. Coming to 16 to go in duel number 1. Still Cozy and Brown side by side for the lead. Brown already locked into the show. Fastest man in Daytona Beach on the pole for next week's Legend 500.
I was following along this transfer spot. Garrett Delph was sitting in and off of corner exit of turn number 2. Got too high off of exit, too tight, had to get out of the throttle, and now he is falling farther and farther away from the lead pack. Make that, I believe, 19 cars or 18 cars in the lead pack.
And Josh, if you run this enough, you know, you would think that you just lift for the corner, get to the speed you need to get, and make your way on exit. But you do have to negotiate running the brakes. If you enter too aggressively, you will get tight, and I think these guys up in the front that are even still side by side, they're 3 wide in the middle of the tri-oval. Here comes McCandless up against the
David
top.
L. Brown. Brown got tight coming off 4. Kyler Wynn trying to pass him, and instead they're both going to lose spots. Chandler Parsons gets by. So does Cattell. Cozy has to drop in line. That 3 wide did not work. Cozy, Butler, and Cattell clear for the lead with 15 to go.
Just going to mention Cattell and Sean Butler, both guys who are very good on the long run in these cars. They know that you have to back up the corner a little bit, slow your roll on entry so you can get that nice bite off center. Even if the setup is a little bit tight, you can keep it a little bit on the bottom and Cozy sliding up. So these guys are definitely experiencing a tight condition. We went with a little bit more of a stable setup, making sure these guys don't just wreck in the middle of the corner. We'll definitely have to adjust that for the 500, but so far still side by side for lead. Sean Butler up front.
And remember, Cozy on 2 tires. Ooh, I don't know. 11 seconds in the box. That may not even be 2 tires. That might just be fuel only for him. Nonetheless, older tires compared to Sean, who took 4 on that last stop.
We got a little blocking action from Sean Butler. Not really. I wouldn't say blocking, but moving.
Cattell!
Oh, man. This is getting really sketch. These people are starting to drive without a care in the world, I think. Just trying to get as many positions up as they can. 18 cars in the lead pack right now. That leaves 1 out from this transfer in. That's Brandon Zimmerman in the 46 machine. He is just a car length behind Gil Chatelain for the transfer position behind them.
What a run from David L. Brown there from the outside. Clears Sean again, and a surge of momentum puts the pole sitter back out in front here in duel number 1 with 13 laps to go. But he's not done. He's got a block. He goes to the bottom. Here comes Wynn with a big push from McCandless up on the high side. Side by side again for the lead into turn number 3. Doesn't look like Wynn will be able to take that momentum all the way out in front because that 83 is strong down there on the bottom.
Oh, Wynn got very sideways. I think he had to pull it off the wall. Didn't quite catch it, but he pretty much yanked it to make sure he didn't hit it. But David L. Brown trying to pull off the Triple Crown here for the LTF Speed Weeks. Get the pole, get a win here in the duels, and then make his way to win the Daytona 500, the Legends 500. Doing a really good job on that inside line. He is always a threat here. But going to the back, you know, Josh mentioned it, only 18 cars now in this pack, and it seems like there's about a half-second gap from 16th to that 18th spot. Got Gorilla in 16th, Chatelain right now in that bubble spot in 17th. And Brandon Zimmerman had a very quiet race so far. I haven't really talked about him a lot. He has stayed in this lead pack, and now here comes Art Reimer back. Had a little bit of clean air on that car, and now he's made his way back up.
19 cars going to be fighting, rather 18 cars fighting over these last 16 spots here with David L. Brown. It makes it the top 19. You have to be inside the top 17 in order to make the show. Otherwise, you're going to have to rely on speed or hope you're high enough in points compared to the other drivers that make the show. And on the outside looking in, we're coming to 10 to go, and things still continuing to build at the front of the field. It's like a pressure cooker.
We just had a transfer for the transfer position. Brandon Zimmerman has taken over. Art Reimer and Jill Chatelain now racing each other. That is going to give a spot to Zimmerman and the spot he needed, P17 now.
Yeah, Chatelain, he got real tight in 3 and 4, almost lost it, hit the wall. He is now behind Art Reimer. Art Reimer just barely hanging on to this lead pack. That'll be the focus on the coming laps. In the final laps, we got 10 laps to go. Kyler Wynn, once again, just has shown his strength. Started 27th, is now leading laps here in Duel 1. Here comes Brown, here comes Butler. Cozy on the bottom, Falkingham. Falkingham was towards the bubble for a little bit. He was in 13th. He's now made his way near the top 5.
Well, you have to keep in mind here, if you're the back 2, if you're Reimer and Chatelain, you don't have any drafting help behind you. You have to do everything to stay in this lead pack because there's nobody to push you back up there. You lose the draft, you lose your opportunity to race your way in to the Legend 500.
Yeah, there was a little bit of close side-by-side action between 16th and 15th of Michael Grilli and Ethan Corder off of corner exit last time by. I think they made slight contact, which slowed them down just enough for Brandon Zimmerman to start to close that gap up and hopefully put a little bit of a buffer between himself and looking out into the Legends 500. As we see them side by side, a little bit off kiltered rather than your regular side by side through turn 3 and 4. They get it sorted and still out in front. Yeah, Brown.
8 laps to go at the stripe. Here from Daytona, Kyler Wynn with another run from McCandless up on the high side. A huge push going into turn number 1. Not quite clear, but that's, I think, the closest he's been going into the corner.
216 entering turn 1 with the shove from Blake McCandless down to 192. Getting another shove yet again down the super stretch. Here comes David Brown yet again. Inside line's been real strong with Butler and Brown manning the helm on that inside line. Gridlocked for the lead, gridlocked from about 1st to, I'd say, about 15th. Then you got Nate Stewart, he'll be actually in 14th, and then single file, that'll be from that transfer position. Currently in that transfer spot, Zimmerman in the 65.
I can tell you right now, that gap that Zimmerman had to P18 is gone. Gil Chatelain, Zimmerman, Art Reimer, all racing to advance. Only one of them will make it in. Or more. I don't know. If somebody wrecks, then all three of them can make it in.
Cattell for the lead. Art Reimer going for the transfer spot.
Someone's going to have to give. It's going to be Falkingham. He backs out of it. Going to get right in front of Mauricio. He'll settle back in now. It'll be 8th position.
Art Reimer, you see him on the center of the screen. First purple car at the back of the field. Racing Brandon Zimmerman for the transfer spot. They're close. Any sort of stack up in the field can result in a swap for this transfer spot. I don't know if it's going to happen, if there's going to be a wreck or what have you, but you know, being out might be the best place to be right now.
There is some lap traffic ahead as well. Garrett Conrad, Tristan Baker. We'll see if the leaders catch either of them. My guess is they'll at least catch Baker since he's a couple of mile an hour off the pace. Conrad a little bit quicker, but I think they'll get to him too because he is the closer race car. Coming to 5 laps to go in race number 1, duel number 1. A little stacking up there coming off turn 4. Still side by side. Wynn leads it at the line.
Hand in the air, 5 to go from Barney the Flagman, and I think these cars have officially hit a loose phase on this set of tires. Guys are starting to get a little bit sideways, get a little bit squirrely, especially when they hit these bumps on the bottom line. Brown has had to check up a handful of times on that inside line that allow Blake McCandless to get ahead. Here comes Conrad. He's going to get to the bottom.
For the transfer position, Nate Stewart is dropping back. He is now 17th. He is now the cut line. Zimmerman's going to pass him on the high side.
Oh, he got too high.
Stewart's backing out. If Stewart's backing out to maybe try and avoid any crashes, now Art Reimer's trying to race his way in, looking for P17. Zimmerman falls out. 4 laps to go.
Oh, man, this is some tight racing, and I guarantee you this will come down to the last lap for the last lap pass.
Last lap pass for the transfer, last lap pass for the win in Duel 1. And if I'm, you know, these guys in the back, if I'm Gilles Chatelain, I'm saving tire. I'm saving heat to make that final push on the final lap. If these guys wreck with 2 to go, I'm in the perfect spot to miss it. If I'm him, I'm staying exactly where I want to be because these guys have been side by side for 20 laps. Zimmerman doing the same thing, staying single file behind Art Reimer. I think we're going to have a hell of a battle for the transfer spot here at the end.
Remember, if they crash before the white flag, we do have one lone green-white checker. Otherwise, this race will finish under caution if we go one past that, or we'll finish under regulation if we don't get the yellow tablecloth to fly. 3 laps to go.
Right now, as it stands, that purple car that's behind the 4 is the last car in. That is Art Reimer. Everyone behind him is looking to transfer in as we see side by side any sort of stack up. And if Art chooses the wrong lane, he will have to slow down and potentially open himself up to getting past.
Coming to 2 laps to go at the line. And if you're someone like Garrett Conrad who does have to fall back on what would be a qualifying provisional, you are rooting for McCandless, for Butler to stay in this front pack and stay intact in that top 5. Side by side, 2 to go. There goes Conrad. And we have an ad.
Cool.
At the worst possible time again.
Oh well. Hashtag blame Zach. 2 to go. The field's off. Turn 2. David L. Brown, your leader.
Can we show the race at least? Because this will be shown available to the replay.
Why are we? Yeah, show the race.
I think ATVO crashed.
Oh,
it did.
Goodness.
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
2 to go. Coming to the white flag. Kyler Wynn is your leader. David L. Brown in second. They're loose off turn 4. Coming to the white flag.
Art Reimer is
1 lap to go in stage 1. Race 1. Duel 1. Whatever.
Art Reimer is currently in the transfer spot. Brandon Zimmerman, Gil Chatelain are the 2 cars side by side in the background. They've
lost the draft.
They are out of the draft. They are out of contention for transferring in. Art Reimer is looking real pretty and real happy in his position.
Art Reimer in a great spot. Battle for the lead for the final time. Wynn gets a hell of a shove into 3. Going to clear Brown. Going to have Blake behind him. Blake gets tight. Will Cattell go 3 wide? They are. And this could shake it up if they wreck. They're going to stay intact into the... they're sideways!
Cozy! Here they come to the flag. Who's going to make the Legend 500? David Brown underneath. Wheel to wheel. There's contact. David L. Brown will win. And at the line, Michael Guerrilla is in. Brandon Zimmerman is out. Chet Lane is out. They wrecked for the transfer spot, but really, nothing changed. Zimmerman and Chet Lane were the first two out on the last lap. They're the first two out on the checkered flag.
If they hadn't have lost that draft, they would have been fine. Unfortunately, because of that, they put too much distance between themselves and the transfer spot that when the inevitable last lap wreck happened, they couldn't take advantage and pass for those transfer positions.
News from Race Control. There will be a cause announced for that final wreck coming to the line. Chris Yankee, if we can get a replay at some point, came up and hit the 015 of Michael Guerilla. They both made it. However, if Chris Yankee is deemed at fault, he will be sent to the back of the line.
God.
That'll put him 23rd, and that'll move up Brandon Zimmerman.
Put Brandon Zimmerman in.
Right.
For Brandon Zimmerman's pit box, we'll find out.
Watch Yankee here. Look at that. Just hit the safer barrier, and then it flung him down the front straightaway.
Those are the two cars that you just saw pass right there on the bottom. Those are the two cars that are out at the moment. We're pending currently any sort of call from Race Control on whether or not that will, if that will stand or where we'll be at in a little bit.
Another replay.
Angle.
By the way, David Brown by 3/100ths of a second does win Duel 1, so he is well on his way to completing the Triple Crown.
So Brown already locked in. Wynn, Butler, McCandless, Cattell, Cozy, Falking, Hemswack, Parsons, Van Valkenburg, Mauricio, Roberts, Stewart, Corder, Reimer. Definitely locked in. Some question marks with Guerilla.
Race is official.
Unofficially. Okay, officially top 17 are in.
Race is official.
So Yankee is in, Guerilla is in, Brandon Zimmerman, first car out, Chat Lane, Warren, Norris, Delph, Norton, Conrath, Baker, Abbey, Murphy, Siasco, Smith, Kolonix, Martin, all on the outside after the duel. Now, 4 drivers get in off of remaining fastest from qualifying, 4 more get in off of points. And then there is 1 sponsor provisional. I would imagine, not looking at the points, Kolonix might be one of those 4 that get in on points, just because he has run a lot of the races, if not all the races in LOTF this season.
And Garrett Conrath did qualify, I believe. This would put him 8th or 7th where he qualified overall in the field. And he finished 24th, so that would be a speed.
He is currently 7th, and right now with Frisch, McCandless, and Butler, that will put him 4th. So yes, he should be in on time.
Just have to see, and we'll sort all this out at the end of duel number 2. So what we'll do here is we'll step aside, we'll go to a break, we'll come back. Duel number 2 will be coming up. Sean Butler will come in here. Kevin McAdams, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the racetrack.
Goodbye.
All right, we'll see you in a bit.
The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you solid soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe, but all we got are ashes of our old memories. settle sun, the war's not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon, you soulless soldier.
To the bottom. Here comes Gisette. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the triangle. No, Rocky up and into the air. They're beating and banging. Burn on the bottom. Cosman up top. Cosman, I think. No. Briar by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph, no! At the line, Thunhorse pulls the win out at the stripe!
Oh, he saves it! What's going to happen here?
Here comes the canvas!
Get your foot in!
He got it! He's got it! He's got it! The canvas is gonna win!
first, we talk with our Duel 1 winner, David L. Brown, who we talked to at the start of Duel number 1 because he was the pole sitter. So, did you learn anything out there?
Oh yeah, the car handled a lot differently than I thought it would. I was expecting it to at some point in the race start to loosen up, especially out front, and it just never did. It was always tight out front. So I was kind of taken a little bit off guard by that, but I think it makes for some better racing having the car be a little bit more predictable like that. The fixed setup races that we normally do, the car will swing from tight to loose back to tight, and in this one it was a bit more consistent, which I think is good for the drivers. It'll give us more green flag, I think, in the main event.
Awesome. Sorry, I was trying to catch up on some of the things that were happening on track in this lineup, but after last race, do you feel like of the people who have advanced, is there anyone that you see yourself having to race extremely hard with? Do you see any favorites from your perspective to win the Legends 500?
I think it's going to be a lot of the usual names that you see up front. Kyler did a really good job, and he was able to make that top work without ever getting tight. The reason I went to the bottom when I did was because I was getting tight on that top lane. I had enough of it, and I was moving down to get the thing to rotate, and it didn't seem to really help any, but I was hoping it would, and Kyler never really fell off on the top, so he's going to be strong. Obviously, anytime you go to these super speedways, you got to worry about Sean and Blake, all the usual crowd that race these things so often. Zwack, Dylan Kim, all these guys are out here fighting for the win every single time we run one of these things. Frisch.
Awesome. Well, those are some serious names there. We have a couple of people who've already advanced that have already won major events in the past, like Firecracker 400 in these cars. You already have some royalty to your name in that sense. You're the Firecracker 400 initial pole sitter. So congratulations on getting the pole, winning this, and hopefully going for the triple crown of titles for the Legends 500. Good luck this race. Or good luck in the main event, not this race. Congratulations again on winning that last race.
Thank you.
It's David O. Brown, your winner of race number 1. We're about a minute and a half away from the grid of race number 2. So why don't we why don't we see if we can talk with your pole sitter for race number 2, who we just talked to, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, who was in the booth. Kevin McAdams, how we doing?
I'm doing all right. We're getting a little prepared for 60 laps. Hearing what David said and what some of these guys said, they said it's a little bit on the tighter side, which I think is a good thing for a good, consistent, clean race. I think when you start seeing these guys go sideways in the middle of the corner, checkups happen, I think a tight setup is a little bit more predictable, but we'll see how it all pans out. I look forward to competing. I really have nothing to lose, but I don't want to wreck any of these guys, so I'll try to be clean, but I also just want to be competitive and see how this thing is in the pack, in the front, behind guys. I think it's really good to know all that stuff. We'll probably make changes to the setup at least a little bit, but we'll see how it goes.
So going from broadcast booth to pole sitter, gotta be a little nerve-wracking. Did you learn anything watching that last race, Kevin?
Yeah, it's track position is always important here with how narrow it is. 3 wide is not something. Oh my god, a grid. Crap. It's not something you really can do without screwing someone over, especially in 3 and 4. So I'll try to stay up front, especially knowing what I know with the tight condition being up front. You don't have to worry about dirty air. Dirty air is really prevalent in terms of the overall balance of the car. It just shifts tight. So I'll try to stay up front, keep the tires on it, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, the last race was pretty hellacious, the first 30 laps or so. Hopefully this is the opposite. We get a good green flag run, get some pit stops in.
All right, well, thanks, Kevin. Best of luck here for you in the race. We'll see how things go for you.
Hey, listen, no matter where I finish in this, I'm still on the front row for the 500, so we'll have fun.
This is true. That's Kevin McAdams, your pole sitter for race number 2. Let's take a look at your starting grid for this second race here from Daytona. Kevin McAdams is on the front row. Eric J. Smith lines up to the outside. Then it's Michael P. Frisch and Jake Poulin in row 2. J.D. Willis and Tyler Gary in row 3. Tyler Dubas, Seth the Merchant make up row 4. Philip McCandless and Dylan Kim round out the top 10. Josh.
Philip Snipes as well as Chris Davis are going to make up row 6. Mitchell Riggs, Logan Helton, row 7. Sean Pele, Corey Henley, row 8. Josh Parker, Scotty Smith, row 9. And Sean Begley and Johnny Thomas are going to be row 10.
Row 11. Hi, everyone, by the way. Row 11, we got Cole Freilich and Adam Thompson here. And then we got row number 12, John Gorlinski coming from the back. Owen DeGroot starting alongside him. Michael Sturgill, Matt Spalding make up row 13. Kwame Scott, row number 14. He's in 27th. Roger Graham, he's going to come up to the field like a bat out of hell in that number 111 car. Frank DeAngelis in 29th. And our own Justin Malillo in the 30th position. Justin waving to the webcam we have for him, so maybe we'll get him up later, who knows. And last but not least, in that iconic number 84 car, John Adams rolling off in the 31st starting spot, Jacob.
Yeah, and Justin has only driven a lot today. Some 15 hours down to Charlotte, down there for media day for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, and had a long way to drive to Charlotte, but he is there, and now he's ready to try and drive his way into the Legends 500. Kevin McAdams and Eric J. Smith are on the front row. 60 more laps up on the board. Green flag. We're racing from Daytona again. To the start-finish line to lead lap number 1 of Duel 2. It's Kevin McAdams side by side for second with Frisch and Smith. And Michael Sturgill, by the way, he got kicked out of the session before the grid and everything, so he's now back in. He's up off the pit lane trying to get up to speed now. He's going to be in danger, though, eventually of losing a lap as the field's off too. Oh, we got trouble.
That's Owen DeGroot in the 033 machine. He keeps it straight, no caution. And one of the other things that happened on that first lap, Johnny Thomas started P20th and fell back to P30th. Maybe trying to play it safe here as we see that machine of Michael Sturgill go 1 lap down on that outside.
It was Spalding that got into DeGroot and turned him around. As there you see, there goes Sturgill on the outside line, still trying to get it wound up and get up to speed. He's up now to more than 200 miles an hour, so he's up to pace. And it sounds like he will be able to get his lap back once we get a caution, if we get a caution, I should say. Single file for the most part at the front. The only car out of line is that 23 of Eric J. Smith as they make their way down the backstretch.
Jake Poulin, Firecracker 200 winner. He knows how to get it done in these cars. Definitely going to be good. He's going to be on that outside lane right now in that 21 machine. Look out for him. He could be a potential spoiler here to win the race.
I would anticipate here up with these guys toward the front of the field. You got a lot of, I want to say buddy ball being played right now, but you got 3 guys up front I expect to work together a lot. Kevin McAdams, Michael Frisch, and Jake Poulin are all going to be working together up there to try and keep themselves at the front of the field. But Eric doesn't run these cars very often. He comes out for the special events in these cars, but he definitely knows what he's doing. Former eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver, so he knows what he's doing up here, so expect him in that 123. You see it as the 23 to be up front of for a majority of this thing.
4 laps will be complete here when they cross the start-finish line. Kevin still leading all 4 laps, and it's pretty single file at the front of the field. Your first side-by-side battle, if you want to call it that, is Philip McCandless trying to pass Dylan Kem, and here comes Logan Helton now on the bottom side.
29 cars in this lead pack right now. There are 31 cars, actually 30 cars in the lead pack. Oh, we got a wreck. Justin Malillo into the outside wall.
Yep.
No
Couple
caution
of cars
there.
around. Dubosh. Sturgill. Caution's out.
That's unfortunate right there.
And it was contact with Malillo and Sturgill.
Oh, the lap car is Sturgill, too. None.
Yep.
Man.
And then Dubosh got turned, trying to avoid. He lifted. Adam Thompson behind him did not, and that's what sent Dubosh around. Malillo has a meatball flag.
Oh,
He drove.
boy.
Oh my gosh! Here's the replay. Here, off to.
I'm trying to tell whose fault this is, but I can't really tell. Malillo came up a little bit, maybe a little too much, not much more higher. Sturgill can go out there, and then the contact just sent everybody around there, and that is that's tough for Justin to get all his stuff set up and then to be potentially taken out on lap 5. So that's a bummer.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably a suspension related thing. He's going to come down, going to hopefully get that repaired. Plenty of time to bounce back in this race. 55 laps to go. I mean, we saw last time how many cautions there were. Sturgill will get his lap back here. It's just, I mean, that happens, and you just got to focus forward and try and make it into the race.
Wasn't there a caution on lap 6 in the first duel?
I believe it was the end of lap 5. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, very these duels mirroring themselves. That's good to see.
Yep.
Do we pit here?
Weird, because usually we get a calm one and a crazy one. So I thought this was going to be the calm one, and it looks like
oh boy,
strategery. Frisch stays out, as well as Poulin, J.D. Willis, DeMerchant, Tyler Gary, Logan Helton, Sean Peleg all staying out. It's a 50-50 split as to whether or not to pit or stay out on the racetrack.
Handful of drivers come down pit road. I don't know about that call by Kevin and Eric to pit. I mean, we saw just how valuable track position was in the first duel, and you could easily get swept up in a wreck in the middle of pack or someone missing a shift on the restart. So this is a curious call by these guys to worry about fuel this early.
We'll step aside here and go to a break. 6 laps are complete in duel number 2. Michael P. Frisch, currently your leader. We'll reset the field when we come back here on FTF. We're back here from Daytona. Michael P. Frisch is your leader. And trying to get everybody else caught up to the field and ready to go. Coming back to the restart here. Frisch your leader, then Poulin, Willis, DeMerchant, Gary, your top 5. The top 5, well, your top 10 stayed out. That also includes Helton, Peleg, Snipes, Scott, and Parker. Eric J. Smith, Dylan Kem, Philip McCandless, Corey Henry, Cole Freilich, Roger Graham, Adam Thompson, Mitchell Riggs, Matt Spalding, Sean Begley, John Adams, all taking fuel only. Everybody else taking tires, it looked like. Oh, well, maybe not. Some of them, I guess all of them, taking fuel only for the most part down there. Whatever. Green flag.
Kevin McAdams restarting P28 was your leader for a little while there, so now got to work his way back through the field if he wants to, I don't know, race, I guess. That's all he's got to do right now. There's not much else he's racing for out there. He's already advanced and locked in.
Down the back straightaway for the lead. Here comes J.D. Willis with the push from Seth DeMerchant, and J.D. Willis is out in front of the field. Good to see J.D. Willis leading this thing. So everyone knows what kind of a week it's been for J.D. Recently went through the loss of his mother a few days ago, and the whole sim racing community has come together in the support of JD and one of the good guys in the community, and the Blake McCandless and the All-In 650. If you guys missed it yesterday, the group that ran that race decided to donate 100% of the proceeds gathered for that race to JD and his family. That was a big moment. Oh, and they're not done yet. Peleg's in the grass. He never lifted. They're 4. Kwame Scott's going to get in the back, and now they're going to crash. Maybe. No. Yes. In the wall, Philip Snipes. He caught the end of the safer barrier, and it broke the car up against the outside wall. He's got a meatball flag, but we stay green here at Daytona with some chaos in the middle of the lead pack.
That's unfortunate. Catching the end of that safer barrier, just ripped out the right front of his suspension. I believe that's what the meatball flag he has is for. We're going to stay under green here. He's probably going to lose at least 1 or 2 laps with all that damage. That's unfortunate. Philip Snipes' day is probably over. As we got one to the outside wall, that was Roger Graham and the 111 machine just off a corner exit, got tight, but he's going to keep it going forward.
Just like that, it's single file once again here at the front of the field. Now they got strung out. They're still trying to work around Kwame Scott right here. This is for the 10th spot, first side-by-side. That's him, Kwame Scott in the 76. Dylan Kem, haven't said his name yet besides on the starting grid in that 9 car. And how about Chris Davis? I talked about earlier, guys teaming up at the front of this field. Chris Davis in that 2 car. Expect him to be latched to the rear bumper of that 9 car as well. Look at that beautiful NOS energy drink number 2 Chevy Monte Carlo. Chris paints his own cars, so he does a good job of that. As they're moving down the backstretch, though, side by side right now for 9th, and Jake Poulin slipping back.
Everybody from the last wreck was able to get it going again. Justin Malillo was namely the one that had the meatball flag. He only had a minute of damage, has 8 minutes of optional still left, but he's keeping up with the pack, still on the tail end of the lead pack. Not quite off speed, but definitely looking to get that damage repaired as we continue to go green.
That car moving straight for Justin? Is it tilted a little bit, or am I just seeing things?
Oh
man, he's
distracted. See what you've done.
That thing is, it's seen better days.
It looks a little skewed.
Oh man, up towards the front
design.
again.
He was in the lead pack, and then we started talking about him. We got him all distracted. Come on, guys, let's let him focus.
Unbelievable.
Up towards the front here, though, that pay very close attention to that highlighter yellow car. That's John Gorlinski in that the world famous number 28. And so, man, they're still mixing it up back there behind him. But John is very aggressive. Started deep in the field for this race. He's right on the back of Philip McCandless. But John knows what he's doing in these things as well, so expect him to be slicing his way up to the front, and he's looking to go 3 wide on Logan Helton down the back.
In the background, Adam Thompson, 64 machine, caught the outside wall. Once again, that corner exit tight syndrome seems to keep on catching up people and throwing them to that wall off of turn 2 exit.
Logan Helton stuck up there on the outside line with Gorlinski down on the bottom. No help for that 63. He's won the last Won the last Legend of the Future race last week, and then he won the first stage of the All-In 650, or rather was leading at the end of the first stage of the All-In 650. He'll try and cash in the remaining miles and win at the bull ring, as there's contact between McCandless and Helton coming up off turn 2, and that could open up the door here for Gorlinski on the bottom, 3 wide.
Oh, this is not going to go well. They're thinking about 4 wide back there. Helton's going to lift out of this and let everybody by. Gorlinski, Davis, Smith, Peleg, Kem is right there, and Kwame Scott right there as well. So big slip from Logan Helton, slip back to 13th. There's still 3 wide almost. Chris Davis looking to go through the middle of Philip McCandless and Gorlinski in the tri-oval.
That's risky.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my. Whew.
Sean Peleg does the right thing there, lifts for Philip McCandless. No need to be racing this hard this early. The only one who doesn't have anything to lose in this is Kevin McAdams. He's in the main event regardless, being on the outside pole, but all these guys up front, they have to race their way in.
Down the back stretch. Gorlinski trying to get some help from Eric Smith. Oh, and Peleg gets turned by Kwame Scott.
Cole
Into
Freilich.
Freilich. Caution's out. Roger D. Graham is in it. Another car involved. Johnny Thomas. Here comes another for good measure. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, and DeGroot.
Frank DeAngelis just got packed by John Adams. Nat Spalding is in it. Scotty Smith. Mitchell Riggs. Somebody lost a wheel. That's Owen DeGroot.
How many times did Sean Peleg get hit in this thing?
A few times
Half
too
a
many
dozen?
there. The caution was already out there for a while. We've been seeing this. I mean, I'm not sure how quickly you can get on the brakes when you're in the corner without the car wanting to step out from underneath you. So, although the 33 could have done a much better job there of slowing down. That's unfortunate.
A lot of guys could have done a better job to avoid him, but you'll see right here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, oh, my God. He just turns right and gets into him.
What happened there? I mean, I think Kwame just missed the corner a little and then just... Poor Sean. Kevin just squeaks through that. Oh, man, I just saw that.
Yeah, Kevin barely avoided damage.
And then everybody just... They're trying to avoid the wreck, but they're just plowing right into it. There you see John Adams just sneaking his way through. I think Sean by far got the worst of that, but I don't think all these guys are worse for wear.
Whoever hit DeAngelis here, I think this is on board. Okay, this is Spalding. DeAngelis got up in the air. He got hit so hard, so... Let's see. He tried the brakes. Oh, and he just lost it under braking, and then he gets hit. And that's why he winds up hitting the Sean Peleg machine.
And
it was the 84 machine of John Adams that hit Frank DeAngelis. Frank has a meatball, but somehow, some way, John Adams doesn't. You'll see right here as we go on board. He goes windshield deep into
Peleg
the back.
as well with meatballs, and here we go.
I mean, he's on the brakes.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Not enough. Who was that plowed in right after John?
Scotty Smith as well that got him.
Man, like everyone just coming in there like heat-seeking missiles in this wreck, like unreal.
One person who's probably happy to see that caution, Justin Malillo. He had lost the lead draft. He wanted to get a little bit of time to repair that vehicle. Pretty happy, I can imagine.
New leader Tyler DeBosch, there you see him involved in that first wreck, and he's found himself back in the lead, so good rebound for that 60 machine.
Only one to go fuel only. Oh boy.
Now
everybody else took tires.
As you guys saw, I did that in the first heat, and I was paying for it. You know, even on a couple lap older tires, there's a big difference in this. A lot of the guys have a lot more grip than you do, and you need to go on a long run for the tires to even out. So I commend Tyler for the decision. I just hope he can hang on to it better than I could.
43 laps to go here in duel number 2 from Daytona. A reminder that we're back next week for 500 miles here from Daytona for the Legends 500. 30 days until the Bar Visual FTF 500. Just 30 days away. If you'd like to join, visit ftf.gg for more information, sign-ups, the schedule, all that and more. Qualifying begins Friday, February 3rd. So we're inside a month to qualifying, and we're inside a month to the Bar Visual FTF 500, one of the greatest spectacles in all of sim racing.
A good time of the year. Speed Weeks is rapidly approaching. If you think about it at all, Speed Weeks and the real stuff, and this all kicks off with the FTF 500. So,
Yep.
The FTF 500 marks the official return of racing in 2023. It's a good sign.
We're just going to ignore the fact that the 24 exists.
Yeah, for a bit. Oval
Okay.
racing. I will.
Okay, there you go.
Give me that one.
I'll agree with that one.
Everyone who had a meatball except for Owen DeGroot has gotten off, still on the lead lap. Owen DeGroot still has a meatball flag, still on pit road, 1 lap down. We'll see if he's able to get out before they come back this time around to the start finish line. I think we are 1 to green.
We are.
Yep.
There you go. Look at that.
Oh, never mind.
Nope, we're back.
Oh, hold on. They were just playing around.
They were testing their admin control buttons.
Matthews Whack picking the best time to.
You would never do that, would you, Josh?
I think you would.
I mean, I've done it in the past, but I don't know if I'd wait till Firecracker 400 weekend to test my admin controls.
Don't worry, you might not have to ever again for Firecracker 400 weekend. The way
Wow,
we're
that
going.
is just rude, Sean. I don't come around talking smack about your events, do I?
Is this?
I don't
this
have
the
any
new
events.
Firecracker 400? Is that what this is?
No, it's a 500 mile race.
This is a 500
Wow.
miler. Oh,
Okay, so
Sean
it's the Firecracker
Peleg
500.
almost got wrecked on that restart. Roger Graham into the back of Sean Peleg, huge stack up, almost caused the wreck. They kept it going straight, but that was one heck of a horrible restart.
Wow.
Yeah, that was ugly.
No kidding.
He just didn't lift.
I'm surprised. That usually results in a wreck, but as Josh said, I don't know how the heck that was in a wreck. His back up front, Tyler Gary, has found the rear bumper of Tyler Dubois, but I think Gary just wants to make the race. He doesn't want to do anything, to take him out of contention. But oh my goodness, Eric Smith says he wants to get up here, just threw it in there on JD Willis. That was nearly catastrophic for everybody up at the front there.
What can fresh tires do for you? For Eric Smith, it puts on a superhero cape because here he comes looking for the lead. They put rocket fuel in that thing? My gosh.
I don't know. They put racing fuel in it. They put something else.
I took that rear spoiler and made it flat.
There's John Gorlinski in that yellow car. I was talking about him earlier. He's up there mixing it up. Gives Gary a big old push into 3, and now they're going to be almost side by side for the lead. But Smith, as you said, Jacob, on those fresher tires.
Trouble for Justin Malillo. He has crashed.
Oh, John Adams and Matt Spalding collected together. No caution. No! Flipping over and over through the tri-oval.
Caution.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Jeez Louise.
Matt Spalding adds another one to the flip counter, and this one's not broken grass physics. This one's just a weight shift gone horribly wrong, and Matt Spalding flips more than a dozen times on the front straightaway, and the caution's out again. Here's the replay.
If you're easily dizzy, do not watch. Adams got loose off of 4, and I count the flips. If someone wants to count that, put it in the chat, please.
Far too many.
Way too many.
Let's see here.
I am John Adams.
Look at this. This is where it starts now. There's this point, and you're going to see with John Adams in that 84. There's a bump off of turn 4, and if you get too low on the apron, if you hit it, it just kicks the car out like that, and Adams tried to save it. He overcorrects. Nowhere for Spalding to go, and here we go. Does he hit the drain?
No,
Not
I
really.
think it's just a weight shift.
Okay, 2,
I think it's
3,
just a weight shift.
4,
and I
5,
count,
6,
I count
7,
15.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think you might be right,
He does
Jacob.
another here.
Wait till we see the 0. 14. 13 and a half. 13 and a half.
Yeah.
He went backwards the other time. We'll count that.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Well, he stuck the
That's
landing.
a meatball flag.
I give that one. That right there, if we had scorecards, that was beautiful. I give it a 9. Beautiful pirouette. The only thing he could have done better there was not hit the fence. He would have avoided the fence. That would have been a clear 10.
Oh, the flag. flagman in a front, and just casually brings the caution in.
Yeah, he saw that and he's like, I think this deserves a yellow flag right here.
Josh, do you remember John Gorlinski, and I think it was the 2021 Firecracker, where he had a very similar flip to that?
I do. I remember that distinctly. It was incredible. It was beautiful. I believe it was the first caution of the 2021 Firecracker 400.
It was.
And we were all patiently waiting to find out what it was going to be, and it ended up being something just amazing. I think he almost flipped, but he didn't entirely flip. Or I could be remembering wrong, and he flipped like no tomorrow. Search up Eraser on YouTube. Find the Firecracker 400. Watch it. Great race.
Wow.
Amazing finish. Do it after this broadcast, though.
Correct.
Can't wait for the next one.
Because I bet you we will have an amazing finish here tonight for the LOTF Legends 500 Duel number 2. Duel number 2. There we go. I can speak English.
It's a hard language to speak.
It is.
Yeah. It's the only one I speak. You'd think I'd be good at it, but here I am.
Still a big Josh Mendoza fan. Don't worry.
That makes one person.
Wow.
At least 3.
You and my parents.
There we go. I'm just glad to be on the list.
Sorry, Sean.
Number 6 tonight.
There it is.
I have been keeping track. We are at 6 sorry Seans tonight, so.
Now, I actually wanted to ask this, Sean. As far as tire wear goes, when you're racing side by side, do you feel like the tires increase more because you're not at the perfect line that you want to be at, or is tire wear pretty similar whether or not you're single file or multi-file?
It's really similar. You just have to worry about whoever's behind you, because if you pay really close attention to these guys that are running up front, if we ever see it, a lot of them lift really early going into the corners, because if you're too close to somebody going into a corner, it can really upset the rear end of those cars, and they can get loose very easily. So it's all about controlling the aero in this, and you slide these things around, the tire's just going to do nothing but wear, and the last thing you want to do in these is have your rear tires falling apart. So really want to make sure you're keeping the tires on it. And as David Brown said in his interview, he got really tight on the top and he was tired of it, so he went to the bottom where it rotated more. So it just depends on where you're more comfortable running. We saw Kyler win in the first one. He did a good job of running the top and making sure that he was side by side the whole time. So whatever line you can master is the line you're going to stick to. Does that answer your question, Joe?
That does answer my question. Thank you.
Okay,
Sean.
thank you. Sorry, Jacob.
No, you're good.
That's 1 for the Shari Jacob counter tonight.
There we go.
There you go. Closing in on halfway. We'll be 35 laps away from the end of the race when we get the green flag. Here from Daytona. Getting ready for the restart.
Have we lost something?
I think ATVO died, and we're back. Cool.
We're gonna try and keep it full coverage here. Hopefully, no more radio coverage.
Big ATVO fan. We're still live. There's no ticker. Trust us when we say who's where.
Yep. 35 to go. Green flag. Wow.
Sean
Smith said he was going to count the field down, and instead he waited until after the green flag to go. And
what a guy!
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, Sean Peleg has the worst luck when it comes to these restarts. He almost was involved in another wreck on that restart. Kept it together. He is just the dartboard of the field tonight.
The field showing their appreciation for Eric Smith on that restart. Nobody goes with them and just leaving him out to dry. Eric's just plummeting through, goes from the lead to 8th in half the track.
Well, JD Willis is the guy out front once again.
$27 cars
on the outside.
Got 27 cars on the lead lap, of which about 21 are in the lead pack.
Transfer spot right now belongs to who else but Logan Helton in the 63. So that's where these guys are aiming to be, ahead of that 16th position. So we'll keep an eye on that. ATVO is back. It feels like working again. And Eric Smith is checking up big going into 3 right in front of Dylan Kem. Almost had another wreck there, but they keep it going.
Yeah, there's Dubois. Can he save it?
Oh,
no.
the field.
Oh, and there goes Smith. Look out, look out, look out. Sean Begley involved. I think just a 3-car crash.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just 3 cars.
Oh.
Eric J. Smith.
Oh, the left front
around.
is destroyed on Tyler Dubois's car. That definitely is at least 8 minutes of repairs on that thing. That's tough.
And a meatball for Eric Smith as well.
Ugh.
Look at the right front.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that's not good.
He's turning that right now. He's got no left front, so he's got to keep the right front tire just sliding. What in the world happened here?
I think Dubois got loose and then got a tap. And if he wasn't wrecking before, he was wrecking after.
God, it happened so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin has to avoid another one there. That was Adam Thompson in the John Deere looking car up there.
Oh,
just
Squeeze
flying.
We need to get an onboard of Adam Thompson, because there was a moment there that I was fairly certain he was going to be in the wreck, and then all of a sudden just a path opened for him and he was going right through.
That's the 64 car for producer Jeff. There we go. So watch this. I mean, you have no choice but to. You're watching this now, but he sees the wreck, goes immediately to the top, hopes and prays, and the smoke clears, and he's through it. Oh boy.
That's one way to avoid a wreck, I guess.
Here's the cliche: I am through it, Harry.
Oh,
exactly what we were looking for there.
Man.
Oh man.
Cars on pit road there. John Adams, Matt Spalding, and then there's the wreck. There's Kevin just again in the green and white Publix car, avoiding another one. He's just getting practice for next week, I think. He knows he's in the race. There's Justin trying to involve himself, and he does a good job getting through. But Kevin's just looking for wreck avoidance practice, I think. Ever since he pit on lap 6, he's just solidly mid-pack, just hunting these wrecks out.
so we're under caution once again.
Oh, this is going to be
the
good.
halfway point here shortly as well, man.
That's an awesome angle. I love that.
He just disappears into the smoke. I love that. That's an incredible angle. Good job to our producers.
Michael, not P. Frisch, how we doing?
We're doing okay.
Why are you here?
Because I'm allowed to be here.
Okay, that's fine.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Just league owner barging in. You got the radio that can change channels. So,
Oh yeah.
well, I guess we got you here. You're P6. How you feeling, Frisch?
Well, after that big moment off turn 2, I think I've shaken everything out of my body because I about not saved it. That was something. But setup's tight. This thing plows, man. But 87 cars at Bumpy Daytona it's pure fun. There's nothing you can go wrong with that. The racing's fantastic. You got some talented drivers out here, and you're having a little bit more cautions than I would like. But when we do go green, the racing's fantastic, and everyone knows what kind of the goal is up in the top 16, top 15 area. Just get towards the end of the race here.
What's the deal with your fire suit? What is that?
The clown suit.
That is awful.
That's fitting.
Appropriate.
It's very noticeable going down pit lane. You can't miss it. So that's why we wear it.
Also, you went to Wawa earlier. What'd you get at Wawa?
The usual sub, buffalo chicken sub. It's not
Nice.
going to Publix because Publix is mid now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, Kevin's upset.
I'm upset with that.
Yeah.
Kevin's in a Publix car. Are you going to say Publix is mid with Kevin in a Publix car?
I'm upset with that.
Zach Johnson is upset.
I'm
with
ahead
it.
of him. So, I mean, he better get up
Whatever.
here if he wants to say something about it.
He's in the race. You don't have anything to worry about. You still got to get yourself in the race.
No, I don't. I'm locked in. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's the Publix car that Frisch is saying is
Unbelievable.
mid now.
Get that thing.
And it's the Publix deli car.
Mid.
Of all things, it's the deli car that you... Oh, man.
Mid.
All Publix has to do is lower their prices a little bit more.
Yeah, who
and
wants to
they'll
pay
be fine.
$10.19 for a buffalo chicken sub, bro? Like, what?
I mean, I
I can go
prefer.
to-
I'm telling you, I go to Publix when I can.
Listen,
They don't have
look,
any in my state, so I don't really go all that often.
I was
can
going to
go
say,
to-
we don't have them here either.
I can go to McDonald's with that money and about feed a lot of people. All right, I don't want to hear it.
Not
Okay.
more. $10?
All right, thank you, Frisch. We're going green.
like a small
Pleasure to have
fry.
you. Go get him. Jeez.
Yeah, we really need to get an encrypted audio channel so you can't keep breaking in here and docking.
Unbelievable. Sorry, everyone watching. Jake, we're coming green.
Are we?
Yeah,
I didn't notice. All right.
just thought I'd point it out, you know.
JD Willis brings us back, green flag. Tyler Dubosh, by the way, he has parked the car, as have John Adams, both drivers. Gonna need some help to get their way into the Legend 500. Dubosh can at least fall back on qualifying speed and have a chance that way right now. We started P7 in this race, so he was in the top 16 fastest cars on the weekend in the session that we had earlier tonight. JD Willis leads the pack off turn 2 for a side-by-side battle. It's Frisch, Corey Henry.
I have some breaking news. Sean Peleg had a good restart. Didn't get wrecked into this time. He's happy.
Wow.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Very cool.
How about
Breaking
Seth
news.
the Merchant in this 57 car? More breaking news. Seth, another Alta C Sports entry, as you could obviously tell by his paint scheme. Very, very good in these cars. Knows what the heck he's doing in this package. He asked Frisch before the race starts, what do I have to do to get in? And Frisch said, don't worry about it. You'll be just fine. And Seth is proving it right now. He's going for P2 on Tyler Gary into one.
Easy. Got it. We are one lap past halfway, 29 laps to go.
Oh, boy.
Little stack up there. Here comes Frisch out of line with help from McCandless.
Corey Henry in that 25 car, the Folgers entry there, the Tim Richmond car. Haven't said his name all night. Working his way up through there, right in the back of Gorlinski. Look at that. Iconic.
Yeah.
Highlighter yellow.
You can't miss it. I mean, if the track was dark and there were no lights for years around, that car would still stand out.
You can see it
Well,
from
this track
space.
has no lights, so
Yep.
yeah.
The guy who could possibly fix it is in this race.
I didn't realize that Tyler Gary
You
could
wanna-
fix that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Jacob. Thank you.
Nonetheless, John Gorlinski all alone up on the outside of the racetrack. Not going to be able to make it work up there.
Car in the wall back there is Mitchell Riggs in the 09.
They're 3 wide right now as we see the John Deere machine plowing his way through the field.
Wow.
Wow, what a
Good
pun.
one. Nice.
He did say they were tight, right? I mean, John Deere should be the sponsor, right?
Maybe one day.
Yeah, we'll get there. And these cars
the back
are on
stretch.
edge.
And JD Willis is just getting pushed by Seth the Merchant right now. No eagerness to get around him. And I think it's because, well, the Merchant knows that, hey, I'm in the show. I don't need to be aggressive right now, especially coming to 26 laps to go. Let's whittle some clock down here. Let's whittle some time down left in this race.
Take a few knees, kill some clock.
Victory position.
Victory formation.
Yeah, there you go. So, in the 2021 Firecracker 400, all of the Altus cars and a couple of other cars out there race with a in-memory of... Oh, we got one car into the outside wall. That's the Folgers machine of Corey Henry. But as I was saying, they race an in-memory of Seth the Merchant because he got caught up in the preliminary races that resulted in him not advancing. And they tried their hardest to get a promoter's provisional for him, but unfortunately Dale Jr. failed to make the show. And, well, when you have the opportunity.
David Brown is still running with that 57 patch on his B pillar on his car, and I was looking at it the whole time I was side by side with him. And I'm like, man, you still have that on there. That's incredible. Oh, Gorlinski got so tied off of 2. Roger Graham right there. They're fanning out back here. Josh Parker, I haven't said his name all night in that 041. What in the world is a sponsor in that car?
I don't
It's
know.
Pepsi? It's an old Pepsi car?
That's interesting. Wow, look at that.
Decision. Cherry Pepsi, maybe? See a cherry
This-
on the side of the car.
Really weird right now how this field has kind of strung itself out. Kevin McAdams, for note, is in the top 11, so that means P17 on forward will advance rather than P16. That would be the Davis machine, the number 2 of Chris Davis. He is driving his NOS Energy machine into the top 17 at the moment, but if Kevin McAdams falls out, of course, that will fall back to P16.
Oh, 3 wide for 4th. Frisch, McCandless, and Kem. These guys are friendly, so they should back this away, and they do.
Got a little bit of a side-by-side battle behind the transfer position. Johnny Thomas, Adam Thompson, Sean Bailey, and Scotty Smith all 2x2 right here. That's actually up a little bit further in the field. That's Logan Helton, Kevin McAdams. There's that one. They are racing right now for the first one out, about a quarter of a second behind the transfer position. So whoever's in the front of them,
time.
They are.
Yeah, they're
Half second
this-
behind Davis now.
Oh!
Oh.
They got to get this sorted out because, as you said, Jacob, Chris Davis is driving away from these guys, and
I think they just did now.
you're driving further away now. But they're side by side ahead of him. They're passing Cole Freilich right now, so they're going to send him back to 17th. So Freilich now in that 15 car is the transfer.
Logan Helton power sliding up off the corner, but he's okay. That's going to open up the door for that 26 of Kevin McAdams. Meanwhile, Dylan Cam making a run for P2 going into turn 1.
You're right, Josh. This is a lot more strung out than the first heat was. I'm surprised it's this spread apart right now as they're still working the way down the back, but it's mainly just a front pack here as McCandless swings down under Gary, but Gary throws the block.
Well, here's my question, Sean. We're coming to 20 to go here in 2 laps. These guys have already been on the racetrack. At least the leaders have been on the racetrack for 20-some laps on this fuel run. Can they make it to the end on fuel? Maybe that's why we're not seeing them being as aggressive, because they know they're going to have to make one more stop.
That would probably be the reason. I'm seeing a couple guys that might be able to make it. Let's see. I'm seeing Logan Helton. He's only on lap 16 of his run. Kevin McAdams.
I don't want to distract you guys, but we got a 3-way battle right now for the transfer position. 03 of Johnny Thomas, 15 of Cole Freilich, and Sean Begley in the 911 machine. That right there, the one in front is currently leading. Oh, the 64 machine. From the wall to making passes, he's got his machine back up to speed. This is going to be a tight battle right here as we see that transfer position has now fallen back to this second group of cars.
And it's now pretty much Gilligan's Island back here, because Thomas a second off the tail end of the pack, and Freilich now 3/10 off the car on the cut line.
Yeah, but these
Back
guys
toward
have
the
to.
front we go.
They have to get as much, space on these guys as they can. The only reason why it is 17 cars transferring instead of 16 right now is because Kevin McAdams is in the front half of the field. So as long as he's up there, it's the front 17. But if he were to fall out of that for some reason, they have to get to that 16th spot. So if I'm them, I'm trying to get up to Chris Davis instead of Johnny Thomas. Try to for sure include myself in the Legends 500 next week.
It'll be kind of interesting. So Kevin made a note last time. Oh, the 64 machine gets into Cole Freilich.
Why are they 3 wide?
Oh boy, this is.
You
We got
guys are
3
in.
wide
What
behind.
are you
They're all
doing?
in. I was saying this the all last race when they were racing. Roger Graham, being the voice of reason right now, says, "What are you guys doing? We're all in the race." But yeah, that was a head scratcher of a moment there.
Yeah, this is
Oh, and
real
here comes
interesting.
Helton.
There's still 3 wide. Guys, you're all in the race.
Well, Helton thinks he can make it, I guess. And that's why he's just powering toward the front. He's now inside the top 5. Oh, no. He's off McCandless, and he's going to crash. Frisch is around.
No, Seth.
Roger D. Graham, look out the second pack. Pulling into Davis. They're going to crash.
Oh, that is the.
Oh,
We
no.
got a
There goes
couple-
Scotty Smith.
Scotty Smith.
Freilich gets involved.
Logan Helton. And Jake Pullen has a meatball.
Oh man, that is. I think you're right, Jacob, because I was looking through the stints on ATVO, and Helton pit sooner or earlier, I guess, well, later than the guys up front. So he could probably have made it. And that's why he was so aggressive getting into the corner, and he just overcooked it. And this is the result. He saved it. As there you see him, he gets in the corner. Oh, he touches the apron a little bit. If you hit the yellow line right there, that
tough.
paint is going to get you a little loose and nowhere for DeMerchant to go. Frisch got taken out. Josh Parker right there trying to go to the right spot. He gets it. He gets away from it. But that's going to make this race a lot harder for a bunch of these guys now.
The person who was in the transfer spot did get collected. He hit Jake Poulin. That's the 03 of Johnny Thomas. That means he was a little left front damage. The damage that Jake Poulin received was enough for that meatball. You'll see him right here. This is leading into this. You'll see just kind of where his situation started to unfold in front of him and what led to his meatball. Unfortunate, he was a good contender. He had won the Firecracker 200 previously, so he knew how to get it done here. We see them wrecking right ahead. Nowhere to go. On the brakes. Still on the brakes. Just, got it overcooked. Chris Davis into the back of him, and you'll see right here, bam. That's enough right there for that meatball. Little right front damage. That's unfortunate.
Again, if you're new to iRacing, what we mean by meatball is a required repairs flag. So the reason it's called a meatball, it's a black flag with an orange dot in the middle of it, and it resembles a meatball, so that's why we call it that. But that means you must fix the damage that's on your car to come back out on the track, and can't continue unless he gets that damage fixed. But that's a tough break for Jake, especially one of the admins of LTF, by the way.
Everybody pits except for JD Willis.
JD Willis.
Which is interesting because he did not pit under the last caution flag. It was 2 cautions ago, so we're not sure he can make it to the end.
He has to pit. He's on 26 laps on his tires right now, and that was a long green flag run we had, so I would assume that he knows he's got to come in and get some tires, because if he stays out, there is no way he's going to be able to keep up with the front pack. Everyone's just going to blow by him like he's not moving. So I would assume he's coming in to get some tires this time.
Unless he thinks they're going to wreck him again here.
I don't know.
But it's a dangerous game.
It is still a decently long way to go. Should be getting the green flag with about 14 laps to go-ish. So that's a lot to ask for these tires, and I would be shocked if he doesn't come down.
He is pitting. He just said it over the radio.
Okay, good. So that's the smart decision. It's going to hinder him a bit. He's going to have to come through the field, but he might have some help here. Dylan Kem coming down there with him. So he'll have someone to come and help him through the field. So it doesn't have very far to go. A lot of the cars in front of him have damage. He's just got to avoid the missed shift and checkups potentially in these restarts. As we've seen, the restarts have been nuts all night, but JD's fast. He can get it done for sure.
We'll take 15 to go when we get the restart. We're running out of laps here for drivers to get in and have a shot. All right, so
They're asking if the top 2 took tires. They did.
oh man, Sean Pillay
actually,
just said,
hold on a minute. Sorry, Jacob. The front 2 did take
Go on.
tires. They took 2
Or no.
tires.
took 2. Okay,
Oh boy. Okay.
interesting.
Hey, Jake, how many did you say makes it in on speed?
4 drivers make it on speed, and they're the fastest 4 that did not already lock themselves in.
Would points be before or after that scenario?
Points would be after, and I believe they're going to figure this all out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I don't have a breakdown as far as how things look for that. But here we go, green flag, 15 to go in Duel 2.
Michael P. Frisch is restarting in the transfer spot currently.
Keep an eye on JD Willis back there. Again, we mentioned that he missed pit road the first time. He had to come down and take tires after, and there's Gorlinski again, looking underneath McCandless. So we'll pay close attention to everything, but there's a lot of implications right now through this field.
Still trying to understand the JD Willis decision.
He probably just missed
Because
pit road. It's no
Well,
biggie.
but he's now on the outside looking in as far as the transfer spot. 3 wide for second.
Guys, you're in the
It's gonna
race.
get ugly.
This isn't smart. This is just stupid racing. I'm
Josh
sorry.
Parker to the front.
This is completely worthless racing. You're racing for a starting position in a race that's 500 miles long. Come on, let's be serious
Putting on
here.
a show.
Jeez, Josh. I need to
Okay,
lay
I'm
into him
saying
like that.
I'm the crew chief coming out right now and saying this is not the way to do it.
Well, I mean, if I'm Dylan Kem right now, I'm hoping Kevin McAdams gets swooped up in a wreck that could happen up here, because if that happens, then that means oh boy.
And Canlis washed it up the racetrack there. Here comes Gorlinski with help from Kevin.
What did we say about this one being the calm heat? Don't think that's the case right now. Seth the Merchant with his damage, though. I wonder how much damage he had, if he had any, from that last wreck. He's still sitting up there. Here's Gorlinski with a huge run. They're going to split Josh Parker into 3.
Let's see how this works. Parker is at least on 4 fresh tires.
Still 3 wide. Oh, Seth.
Merchant's going to get the wall. Oh, trouble. 1 car around to the inside. Mitchell Riggs, I think it is. He's in the grass.
They should clear that
Don't
black
flip.
flag.
Yep, they did.
Don't flip. Don't hit an invisible wall. He's good.
He's good. Woof. That could have been big.
That would. We saw earlier, if you get sideways in the grass, what happened to Matt Spalding, and thankfully, he drives a late model for a reason. So Mitchell is good to go. He's got a long way to go. He needs a caution, but he's still in it.
Here comes Kevin looking for the lead. Gorlinski leading in that top line with help from Josh Parker.
And this front group just looks so calm right up here. And then you have a hornet's nest from Kwame Scott on back, from 9th on back. All these guys are in. They just need to mind their P's and Q's up here. And the real race is back for that 17th position back there. And it's between Logan Helton and that 63 and Scotty Smith. And they're 3 wide off of 2. The 169 in the wall. That's Frank DeAngelis. And they scatter again.
And DeAngelis currently in, but he's in trouble because Scotty Smith is right on his heels, and Cole Freilich is there as well. Frisch is almost a second back on the lead pack. He's got to catch up here if he wants to have a shot to fight for the transfer spot.
He has no help, but as long as he's within about a second, 1.1 second, 1.2 seconds, he should kind of have a little bit of a sniff of the draft. He's got to hope they start racing to catch him, but he's got his work cut out for him for sure.
I'm looking
10
right
laps to go.
I'm looking right now at the results of last race to kind of get an idea of who is in on speed at the moment. If you're ahead of 4th place, we got 1 car around.
Oh, Smith!
Scotty Smith.
Scotty Smith, he was in, and now he's not.
Oh, don't hit the invisible wall. It's around there somewhere.
He's good.
Okay, he's good.
Long story
Frisch
short,
is now out, and he's going to pass Thompson. He caught the field because they checked up in front of him. So Frisch is now in. Thompson's the first one out. And he's going to pick up another here because who is that? Johnny Thomas missed the corner. So that's the cut line right here. These two.
was going to say at the last lap, Frisch was in on speed. Same with Eric J. Smith and Jake Poulin, who are currently out. But Frisch making himself in. That opens up J.D. Willis to advance on speed.
Trouble off turn 2.
That would be J.D. Willis.
J.D. Willis. He got turned by Chris Davis.
Oh, my goodness.
So if
Got
Michael
loose and
Frisch,
Davis finished him off.
if Michael Frisch advances, that means J.D. Willis. If he advances on position, J.D. Willis will advance into this race. If Michael Frisch is outside the top 17 or top 16, depending on where Kevin McAdams finishes, he will be the one who takes a provisional, not J.D. Willis.
I'm glad you did the
remember,
research on that.
it's you got to keep in mind those guys on speed from race 1 as well. It's the top 4 between both of them. It's not 4 from one race and 4 from the other.
I know
It's 4
that
drivers
actually
from speed overall.
that would be Garrett Conrath. He started P4 in his race. The next one down would be Alex Kolonix, who started P6 in his race. So JD Willis starting P5 in this race will give him the spot over Alex Kolonix.
3 wide again into turn 3. Dylan Kem took Seth DeMerchant and Kwame Scott 3 wide. Guys, this is a moon car. This is we're racing for something here. Philip McCandless side by side with Tyler Gary in the 1. That's for 3rd.
By the way, the battle for the cut line is over. Adam Thompson is in. Johnny Thomas is 2 seconds back from the cut line. So right now there's nothing back there to watch.
Dylan Kem is making
Dylan
Kem's making something to watch up here. He's trying to go 3 wide. Took Gary
backs
3 wide.
out of it.
Gary's not going to like that.
Oh, he's blinking.
Oh no.
He's good. 6 to go here. Oh, that's pulling on the apron. Look out.
If this is the race for the finish in the 500 miler, this would be exciting. But right now, these guys are all in the race. One false move and they could not be in the race.
Oh, like that. Kem saves it. Maybe.
What a save.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, man. Oh, brother.
I don't get it, Jacob. I don't get it.
So, Jake, to answer your question, only one car from the other race right now can transfer in on speed because 2nd, 4th, and 5th here are all out of the top 16 or 17 at the present moment. If Eric Smith or JD Willis or Jake Poulin somehow manages to get into the top 16, then that moves Alex Kolonix in as that transfer.
I'm glad you're on top of this, Josh.
I'm trying. I'm putting my best effort in.
Making this a lot easier for us.
Steve Kornacki, the Legends 500. 4.5 laps to go here from Daytona. Kevin McAdams, your leader, trying to become the other guy that's already locked in to win the duel. David L. Brown did it earlier. Your pole sitter for next week. But we're not done yet. Coming to 4 laps to go, and anything can happen. Just ask Dylan Kem.
Yep. Dylan Kem, he's still in. He'd only slid back to 10th, so it's not the end of the world for him. Looking back around. Oh, Kevin gets split 3 wide. McCandless to the outside. That's Josh Parker to the inside. Is Philip going to clear him?
Oh, Kwame Scott got hit by Roger Graham. Can he save it? Yes, but he's way off the pace.
Oh, no.
He needs to get
down to
going
120 miles an hour. He's going to lose the draft, and that's the cut line. He is 17th. He is in right now, but here comes Chris Davis at speed.
Oh, this got a lot more interesting now for Kwame. He's got to hustle and get that thing going. Davis is going to pass him, and Kwame's got to get the draft, and he's out now.
20 mile an hour off. He's got to, he's going to get passed by Thompson.
That
Chris Davis in the show for now. 3 to go.
Johnny Thomas just got a whole new breath of life right there. If he can catch up to Chris Davis, he, I believe, will advance in. And he's got Kwame Scott behind him to push him towards that sort of position.
Not over yet.
This is going to get really tight to the line.
Oh, Frisch gets turned by Gorlinski into the outside wall. Roger Graham's in it. Caution's out. We're going to overtime.
Why? They're in the race, Jacob.
That is the worst thing that JD Willis could see right now is Michael Frisch getting spun. That means right now JD Willis is out.
And he got hit from behind by Gorlinski. A bad bump turned him up into Graham and into the wall.
I know a thing or two about bad bumps in these cars, but let's take a look here in this because, as you said, Gorlinski, you can't push in these cars, especially when someone is right next to somebody, and Gorlinski just taps the left rear right there and just sends Frisch up the racetrack, and nowhere for Roger Graham to go in that 111. He saves it, but definitely not how Frisch wanted this race to go for sure. That's tough.
The overtime here. We have one attempt at a green-white checkered. We'll see an onboard right here.
You'll see when he gets hit that wheel is going to jut to the right. Off the corner. Here comes Gorlinski. Nowhere for him to go. Nothing he could do, really. Gorlinski might get a black flag here for being the cause of the crash. We'll see what race control decides on this one.
I think he said no black flags there.
So this is our lone attempt at a green-white
Gorlinski.
checker, and Gorlinski gets the EOL. That's going to drop him back to 25th, it looks like.
Yep. That's unfortunate. So at the moment, right now, presently speaking, Michael Frisch, Eric J. Smith, and Jake Poulin will be the ones to advance from this session. And
Somehow, no
Garrett
meatballs
Conrad.
out of that crash.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Fitting how this would end, boys. You know, overtime for a spot to get in a big race next week. Guys like Adam Thompson, Chris Davis, Johnny Thomas, Mitchell Riggs, Scotty Smith, Eric Smith, and Michael Frisch back there, and JD Willis. They are all going to be clamoring to get to that 17th and final transfer spot potentially. This is going to get wild.
JD Willis, the first one off of pit lane that came down pit road. That's going to have him line up P20 right now. That gains him 3 spots on pit road. Now 3 spots out, looking outside in.
Jacob, they were in the race. Why are they?
They were in the race.
Why are they doing
And
that?
now they're not.
Actually-
None of them are.
I say that, but John Gorlinski is one of the cars ahead of JD Willis. He will be starting P19, only 2 spots out, 2 laps to go. All you got to do is 1 spot a lap. I mean, how difficult can that actually be?
Well, Willis hasn't caught up to the field, so Willis will start in front of Gorlinski, as will Frisch, as will Kwame Scott. Eric Smith has parked the car. He is done for the night, it looks like.
That means
Or
one of those
he fell out.
One of
I
those
think he
speed.
fell out. Oh, no, he's on the pit lane. Never mind. I don't know why ATVO says he's off the track.
So
I think his engine is off, is why that's showing that.
Cole
Go ahead.
Freilich has damage. Adam Thompson has damage. Johnny Thomas has damage. This is going to get ugly for this transfer spot here. We had a lot of we have injured race cars here to try to hold off the not injured race cars. But luckily for Philip McCandless up there in that purple car, it's all happening behind him. But another purple car that's got to have his eyes on the mirror is that 2 car, Chris Davis. He is just in that 15th position, and he is right on the edge of not making this thing.
Eric J. Smith was the lucky dog that last time, so he'll be back on the lead lap. He is going to restart, it looks like P24th or so, somewhere around there.
Is it too early to ask for picks for the transfer spot? Not the win, for the transfer spot from everybody in the chat. Davies in there with his Chris Davis mode. I know who the hell Davies picking.
Gorlinski. I'm picking Gorlinski. I think he's going to be. I think he's done so well with these cars. I think he's going to be the one that. I think there's going to be a last lap wreck, and he's going to be able to split the wreck and just make his way up to 17 somehow.
What are you cackling about, Jacob?
I just went over to Twitter and I found a video from Cozy. This was from the start of the night.
Oh yeah, that hellacious accident. Yep.
I swear he tries to do this everywhere we go.
I watched that happen live, and I was concerned for him. All right, here we go.
Up into the fence. Oh my. All right, well, 2 to settle it. This is your only green and white checker. So if they crash before the white flag and they throw the caution, this race is over. Otherwise, this is the last shot.
Get a good shot of this transfer spot back here, Jeff, because it's getting hairy. Chris Davis trying to get as far away from that 16th spot as he can. Right now, Mitchell Riggs holds it in that 09 car back there, and they are.
Malilla was 1 spot out.
Where did Justin come from? That car is destroyed.
He had the restart of his life, and now he's getting abandoned down the back straightaway.
That's unfortunate. He needs everybody in front of him to wreck.
Again, since Kevin
McCandless
McAdams,
leads.
since Kevin is in the top portion of the field, the front 17 will transfer. Right now, it's Johnny Thomas in that 63 car. Here comes Frisch to the outside to get in.
Last lap.
Tell you right now,
McCandless leads. Frisch is in at the line.
JD Willis is hoping everything is going to happen that needs to go his way. That means Michael P. Frisch needs to be the one that advances in on a position, not on time.
Side by side at the front, but again, we focus on the transfer
Johnny's in the
battle
wall
down
of the
the back
two.
straight away.
Oh, Frisch is in the wall.
JD's
Scattering everywhere. Adam Thompson
is
in the
slow.
grass.
Here comes JD. Could be in.
Needs
Thompson
to
has
get
to
by
block.
one car. He hits him. He turns him. Can he save it? No, they crash behind him. Kwame Scott body, Scotty Smith, Malillo's around. J.D. Willis is going to race his way into the Legends 500.
Meanwhile, there's a 4-wide finish that Kevin McAdams won, but never mind that. J.D.
McAdams
Willis.
by 35 thousandths of a second. DeMerchant almost stole it on the inside line, but J.D. Willis, unofficially the last car to make it in the duels here at Daytona for the Legends 500. And oh my God, Frank DeAngelis might need a coffin.
I'm looking
Oh
right
my.
now. I'm looking right now to see
He
who would
might have broken
advanced.
Spalding's record.
Look at this finish, though. Staggered 4-wide. Kevin wins it, but who cares?
I think on time,
Right.
Eric J. Smith, Jake Poole in advance, and then from the other session, somehow, some way, Alex Kolinix is going to advance, as well as Garrett Conrath.
Oh my
because
goodness.
both J.D. Willis and Michael Frisch advanced on position. Kolinix was looking very unlikely to advance. He manages to advance somehow 2 hours later.
Again, this is all unofficial. We need a-
Unofficial, but the math
unofficially. Unofficially.
This is assuming points do not apply before speed.
They shouldn't,
They should not.
based off of how it's broken down. My goodness.
That
Lots
was
to
nuts.
unpack. Kevin wins.
Yeah, why not? My goodness gracious.
So
That's
McAdams, McCandless, DeMerchant, Parker, Kem, Helton, Henry, Graham, Begley, DeAngelis. That's your top 10. These drivers all in. The next drivers in: Gary, Frisch, Davis, Freilich, Sturgill, Riggs, Willis, unofficially the last car in from the duels. So Kwame Scott, the first one out. And you can see where they started on your screen as well. And those three going to have to fall back on points if they get in at all, or the sponsor provisional for Scott, Gorlinski, and Peleg. And it is confirmed J.D. Willis is 17th. He is in the Legends 500.
And
Wow.
remember,
Eric Smith.
Kevin McAdams has already had his spot locked up, so that's why it's not the top 16th.
Yep.
It's the 17th position.
You see Eric Smith, he's most likely going to get in on speed, as will Poulin. Everybody else on that list going to need either a sponsor provisional or get in on points. And then Philip Snipes at the back in P11. Let's talk with our race winner, Kevin McAdams. And Kevin, sorry we ignored the finish, but it was a barn burner up at the front.
It was. It was fun. You know, I told Phil with 2 to go, you know, I'll push him until like I can't, and then I literally got put in a position where I couldn't. So we were side by side there, and it's good to know that. I'll tell you this: that high line gets good when it gets loose, and I was starting to get loose on that latter, 3, 4, 5 laps of that run, and I think that's a good sign that as the track gets a little bit cooler, the track gets a little bit looser, because it did go down about 7, 8 degrees. So we'll see what we do for the 500. It's good to know that I have race pace and Q pace. We'll take that, and we'll work on a setup for the 500, and should be a fun one. Two damn near photo finishes. We'll take it.
So now what?
I believe we have to do provisionals, and I'm not sure where we'll post those. I'm sure you guys will be signing off soon, but we will get the provisionals as soon as possible to let everyone know, at least the top 42, get that out in stone for the field to know where they're at, if they're in, if they're not in, and we'll see.
Follow at LOTF_series on Twitter if you're curious to follow who's going to be in. We'll have that up there as an update.
May I have the mic?
No.
Okay.
All right, go
We
ahead.
talk with Phil McCandless first.
Yeah, bring him in.
Philip McCandless coming home P2 tonight by the skin of his teeth there at the line in a photo finish. What'd you learn from tonight?
I mean, I feel like the set we had was a little tight, so it was just, kind of figuring out, like, the first run, I just went up top and burned my stuff off, so that was good to learn early on. Coming to the end, being the leader on the last restart, it's always kind of, you're in a bad spot, so I decided to kind of jump the field and try and get, keep against the wall, see if I could hide the field out, and that they wouldn't see me take off, and just see if that helped, so we'd only have a few cars up at the front. And it just came down to coming off of turn 4 and who Josh Parker was going to push, and I guess he decided to push Kevin, and so that was the end of the race, but did everything we could, and had a lot of fun, and had a pretty good finish, so happy with it.
Ready for next week?
Heck yeah. Again, these 87s race really well here, and we could maybe get the set just a tad bit looser. Honestly, I think it'd be great. I feel like in the run we maybe had to save a little too much on the bottom, but it's 500 miles at Daytona, so anything can happen and should be a blast.
Well, best of luck next week, Philip, and we'll see you then.
Thank you, Jake.
It's Philip McCandless, P2. Now, Frisch, go.
Wow, unbelievable. Just go.
Everyone, well, thanks for joining us. So be sure to tune in right here on FT.
He's the one that asked for the microphone. You want it? There you go. Take it.
I just wanted to give a congratulations to Kevin. This
Are you
whole
conceding the championship or something?
no, I just said this putting on this little thing we put on in the last month has been really cool, and I really just can't thank everybody enough. I don't think I came on the broadcast yet, and just wanted to thank everybody. It's been real. I can't wait to do 200 laps with these guys next week. It's going to be something. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. I hope we don't hear a whole bunch of sorry Sean's, because I think there's a counter tonight for sure.
I mean, we're up to 5, so it's gonna be a lot more in 500 laps than there is tonight.
Well, we know how to play those games, so
500
just a
miles, not 500 laps.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a fun one. I mean, 87 cars, get the set a little bit looser, like Phil said. I think we can do something, and then go from there.
David Brown is challenging Josh Mendoza's math right now in the chat. He says, if I'm doing the math right, Eric Smith, Conrath, Poulin, and Kolonix in on Q speed, Peleg, Warren, Gorlinski, and Scott in on points provisional.
Okay, I can confirm Smith and Conrath because those have been put on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I actually was about to come back with an update on points, and I was going to actually come back with those same names as well. Those were the 4 that I got from points provisional. So that would be unofficially Eric Smith, Garrett Conrad, Jake Poulin, Alex Kolonix, Sean Peleg, Warren, John Gorlinski, and Kwame Scott would be those 8 drivers who used a provisional to advance. And that actually, I'm looking at the points. Kwame Scott is pretty far. He's 22nd in points. That's how far back we had to go to get a points provisional, the last points provisional. So 22nd should be good. If you didn't advance and you're ahead of Kwame Scott on points, that would be the only way that you would advance without the sponsor provisional, I believe.
So we can confirm, pending replay check from those 4, Smith, Conrath, Poulin, and Kolonix. And by replay check, I mean replay of qualifying to make sure that their lap was all good. They didn't cheese. And they will be in the show. So those 4 in on qualifying. Smith, Conrath, Poulin, and Kolonix.
Looking at the Q sheet, the main sheet, as of now, Smith, Conrath, Poulin, and Kolonix are definitely on the list. We will do a little bit of inspection, make sure they didn't do anything nefarious. There's not much you can really do in this car, but we've learned a couple things from a couple guys who run this car a lot. One of them's in the Twitch chat right now, so we'll take a look at it.
Matthew's whack?
No, it's David.
Oh, okay.
David Brown.
But if y'all had to pick, what was the better duels tonight?
Oh, the second one.
Yeah,
There was more unnecessary action in that one than there was in the first one. I'm very glad I was in the first one because they were racing for no reason up the front of the second one.
We felt the exact opposite in the first one. I thought you guys were side by side for no reason for 20, 30 laps.
Well,
we weren't wrecking each other up there.
That's true.
Well, Phil was throwing it 3 wide every other lap he had a chance, so I don't know what he was doing, but we're
Are you? I could pull Phil here right now. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it. Hold on. Did you hear
Phil,
the slander coming from Frisch? here?
Frisch is talking bad about your 3 wide moves at the front, Phil.
Yeah. What was that? Huh? Was that necessary?
Yeah, it was. I
Can you
figured
give me
you're
an
my top
explanation?
competition, so I wanted you to be on the top line to burn your shit up.
Oh!
Whoa, you can't say that.
Yes, he
Yeah.
can.
Oh, we're still on the broadcast? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Death
my
tax,
Listen,
Death taxes and Phil McCann was cussing on the broadcast.
I will always endorse vulgar language as a founder of FTF.
We're gonna
Yeah,
get
100%.
fined.
100%.
I don't think
Yeah,
Garrett
I know.
Delph is going to have problem. The owner of Shenandoah.
There are
Pride.
children watching.
Fresh is one
And
of the premier drivers in this series, and so if I can put him in a situation that he gets 3 wide, I'm not not going to wreck him, not going to take him out or anything, but then he gets shuffled back, gets caught in something that takes out a good contender.
We need Justin Malillo's input on the language scenario. The real owner of FTF.
I can't believe I got targets on my back.
I
now
think
in
he
these
is.
races.
I think he is the only one listed on the LLC. So yes, he is the owner. Zach, you can say whatever you want about the policy. I do not care about that.
Well, looking at Malillo's camera, he is not at his computer right now.
Unbelievable.
Should we get a word with the guy that transferred in?
Which one?
He's the last guy to transfer.
Okay.
JD?
Oh yeah. Let's bring him
Hold
up here.
on. Hold on.
Okay.
Have an
All right.
update on points. Just want to confirm this. On the sheet, Peleg, Warren, Gorlinski, Scott make the 500 on points.
Oh boy.
There you
You
go.
guys mathing properly. Good job.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's
to
why
be
I hired
decided's
you
in the
guys.
500. Oh, he's tough.
That's one. Last time he came in, it was Dale Jr.'s other name. So
Ralph.
Vacant is in the 500.
oh,
We have JD Willis on the line.
Hello.
JD, you made it.
I made it, man. That was a very, very fun race. I just I hate that I kind of blew it there. I had my keybinds mixed up. For one thing, I didn't pit, and that was very, very stupid of me. But then when I came down the second time, I didn't have my my tires checked. So we really dug ourselves in a hole there at the end of the race. But we led a whole bunch of laps. That was a very fun duel, and I'm so happy that I was able to come and make it into the race. And I look forward to the LT or the Legends 500 next week and everything. And yeah, it's just after the last few weeks that I've had, it's very nice to get back on here and race and be with everybody. And my stream tonight has just been unbelievable, and I just can't thank y'all enough for allowing me to be a part of this league and for everything that y'all have done for me the last few weeks. And with the All In 650 and the Legends race, or the LTF race at Darlington. I'm just so happy to make it, man. I'm racing right now for a very special person, and as y'all can tell by the person that's on the hood of my car this week, and it just feels good to be back. It feels good to go out there and lead a whole bunch of laps, and I'm just so happy to be back. and I look forward to being a part of the Legends 500 next week. And tonight's race was for you, Mom. And I love you, and wherever you are, I miss you. And we're gonna race hard for you next week.
Much love to you in the chat, JD, as well. Twitch.tv/JD Willis, by the way. That's it, right? JD Willis was
That's it. That is it, man.
That is it. So, but yeah, you led a bunch of laps as you were talking about there. So you were really strong at the beginning of the race. Everyone was kind of just sitting behind you there for a while. What was it like out front? We never really asked the guys out front, how different it is being up front than in the air, so to speak. So what were the conditions like out front? Do you think you prefer to be up front or in the pack during the race next week?
Well, after leading all those laps, I kind of actually prefer to be out front. The car was very stable from what I could tell. I was able to send it in pretty deep and keep it underneath me. There towards the end, we had that really long, that kind of long run right there. I kind of got a little free, but not much. I mean, it was. I think clean air is going to be king come next week and everything. I could tell back in the drafts. I know I was on old tires, but I could tell that the handling's a lot different. But from what I could tell from leading all those laps, I think clean air is going to be king here in about a week's time. But yeah, the car was very stable out front. It got a little loose there towards the end, but other than that, clean air I believe is going to be king.
I think so. I mean, that's definitely. I was getting that impression too. You were more brave than I was being up front there. I didn't want to be out front at all. Just kind of like put that air back there. So you did a hell of a job there. One last thing before we let you go here. I want to we were kind of talking about that pit stop that you mentioned earlier. I thought you just kind of accidentally missed pit road, but did you stay out by design there after that run?
Well, I kind of had my mind in other places. I was actually, to be honest, I was more worried about saving fuel because I was right there on the edge. But then, I just kind of forgot, what lap I put it on last. I looked up at my caps and said lap 17, and I was like, oh no. So when I missed, didn't come down with everybody that first go around, I knew I messed up, and then when I came down. And the second time, I figured, I'd get tires and everything be fine. I just drive back through the field, and my pit stop was 12.1 seconds. And I was like, wait a minute, we're not in the next gen car. So I was like, oh, because my push to talk button on Discord, right next to it is my tires. So I will be changing that and hopefully not do that next week come Legends 500.
I mean, the hard part's over with, man. You're in the big show next week, so no worries there. But we'll let you get back to your chat, man. So I put your chat link in our chat here in FTF. So go give JD a follow, man. Support his stream over there. But any shout outs you want to give before we let you get back to your chat there?
Oh yeah, man. Thank you to everybody on Nexus Esports. David O'Brown has been showing me the ropes in this car. He helped me a lot with qualifying and running the race line tonight. Zach Hudson at Nexus Esports, just everybody at Nexus. Thank you to everybody. You guys from LOTF, just like I said, the last few weeks has just been unbelievable, and the support everybody's been showing me, and just everybody that's reached out to me the last couple of weeks, and just thank you guys so much, and I love you guys, and I look forward to being here, and hopefully we bring home the dub next week.
Much love right back to you, man. So JD, you're going to be up front a lot in that race, so we'll look forward to seeing you up there. And take a breather a little bit. The hard part's over, like I said, and we'll get to racing next week. But awesome job tonight, man. Congrats on getting in there.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Jake, back to you, man.
All right, well, let's bring this thing into landing. So we know at least 42 of the 43 drivers that will start the Legends 500 next week. The only one we don't know, the sponsor provisional, which will be announced closer to the start of the Legends 500 next week. Again, that's Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on FTF.GG from the Daytona International Speedway. Well, that's it. We set the field. I guess now it's time for the chaos to get rolling. So I want to thank everybody that's been in the broadcast booth tonight. Sean Butler, Kevin McAdams, and Josh Mendoza. Alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thanks to Jeff Johnson for powering through the technical issues that we've been having tonight. And hey, we made it. We'll see you next week for the Legends 500 from Daytona. We'll see you then. Good night.
Bye.